Hey there! Welcome back to NASA Marathon. We are going live now with Suprix and Ace with Jet Set Radio Future. Are you all ready? I saw some hype in the chat already. People have been staying up for this. It's going to be exciting. We've got a incentive running throughout the run for which character Suprix will end with. Definitely go check that out and donate towards the cause. We are fundraising for Save the Children here at NASA Marathon, and we are over $650 at $667, I believe. Yes. And we're super close to 700, so help us get there. And I'm gonna give it off to Suprix to start. Go ahead.
Hi everyone. My name is Suprix, and with me for commentary is 7 Days. And this is Jet Set Radio Feature 100% no post game. So this is going to be everything you can possibly do in the game before beating the final boss. So it's going to be a nice, cozy, long 3-hour run. So if we're ready on time, I'm ready to get started.
Yep, ready whenever.
Real quick, the stream seems to have a little bit of framing. Like the left side of the game is somewhat cut off, so I just want to make sure we're good there. Good?
Yeah, the word loadless in the top left corner should be fully visible.
Yeah, we're missing like 100 pixels to the left and a little bit in the bottom right. About 50 pixels on the bottom.
Yep, hang on.
Put you back to the title screen. So we can hear that music.
Shadowy working hard at it. Making sure that...
He's in there.
Yeah. We want to see the game. I've actually never seen this game, but I know it's extremely popular and hyped for some reason. What made you start running this game?
Well, I just grew up with this game. I've had it since it came out on the Xbox in like 2002, I think.
Yep.
And eventually I got into speedrunning, and after a long time I put 2 and 2 together and figured, hey, I could speedrun this game. And that's what got me started in the speedrunning. I think that's true for a lot of runners for this game.
Yeah.
This is a very popular like entry level speedrun for people.
Yeah, as Jet Set Radio is kind of like this cult classic where you don't really hear about it, but everybody, when you stream this game, everybody just comes in and says, wow, I remember this game when I was a kid, when I first got my Xbox. So, yeah, looks like the stream's good, so let's get this.
Yeah, it looks perfect. So I'm ready to get started.
Good luck.
Yep, good luck.
Thank you. All right, we'll start in 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah, so the first thing we do is mandatory tutorial stuff. Gum's going to do a few challenges, and you just have to do them as fast as you can. So she's going to ask you to jump, and then jump 3 times, grind, get some spray cans, spray some graffiti, you know, the basic stuff.
Whoa, spoilers there.
Oh my god, sorry.
Yep. It is all in Japanese. Japanese dialogue is overall faster, and a lot of the cutscenes can be shorter, except for ones with Hayashi, because he likes to laugh a lot more in Japanese.
So I have visual cues with the dialogue to try and do these as quick as possible. The challenges only start registering after Go appears on screen. So I'm trying to do this as fast as possible.
Yep, each character, at least to start, can hold a maximum of 30 cans, so Suprix went ahead and picked up 30 cans as fast as possible before having to spray some graffiti. So these are essentially all little auto-scroller sections. Boost cancel to go ahead and finish up the tutorial, and off to our first mandatory cutscene. Cool.
Yeah, this is DJ Professor K, baby.
So for our convenience, even though the game's in Japanese, DJ K's voiceover is still in English, so you can follow the story without needing to speak Japanese.
But if you can only speak Japanese or read Japanese and can't understand English, subtitles are provided at your convenience.
Apparently, I hear from people that read Japanese that this font is really bad.
Yeah, I've heard that as well, where it's because it's like a combination of two different Japanese font types or something like that. It's really hard to distinguish with like the blocky appearance and everything. So it's kind of interesting. Wouldn't know about it though.
Well, the game's story as it is pretty incomprehensible, so I think it suits it well.
Fair enough.
So anyway, during this unskippable cutscene, I guess we should explain how this run is going to go. So this run's 3 hours long. The first hour and a half is going to be kind of the any percent part of the run. If you've seen other collectionist or completionist speedruns like Odyssey Darker Side or Sunshine 120 Shines or something like that, it's going to follow the same structure. We do any percent stuff first, with some extra stuff with some extra stuff where it's convenient, and then once we get to the late game where everything's opened up, we just go through all the levels and clear them out, get everything. So the first hour and a half is a lot of tricks and a lot of cutscenes, and the last half is a lot of just raw movement.
Yep, it is a very it's very cool. I really like this run. It's near and dear to my heart overall. Just because it takes some of the lesser used part of the game that we saw in 100%, which was a category that's been around for as long as Jet Set Radio Future's been around, but removes some of that in-game tedium of nearly an hour of essentially unskippable nothing and replaying the levels for a third time. So it's really a great hybrid of the any percent and 100% speed runs that have been around for such a long time. And this is our newest leaderboard category. So, and Suprix is the world record holder for this with time just under 3 hours for this. So looking forward to see a pretty good run here.
I just realized I forgot to start my splits. Oh well, I guess there's no point now. Goodbye, live split.
R.I.P. Alright, one more cutscene as we enter Dogen's Off the Hill, and then we're going to go ahead and get right into the gameplay, where I'm going to tell you about all the cool movement tech that Suprix is going to do. If you hold a button, like the Y button, entering any kind of level, you'll go ahead and not get turned around when the camera changes. Suprix there just picked up a graffiti soul. We will need, in any percent, you need 20 of those. In this run, we will need all 105 that exist on the map. There are 3 placed by default on the level, and then there are 5 that will be unlocked via tape challenge that will get in just a couple of minutes. And we'll have to go unlock them and pick them up. Suprix went ahead and did a boost technique we saw in the tutorial, but it wasn't cancelled, obviously, so we can move very quickly throughout the levels. And we've been introduced to the main thing we're going to do this run, which is just spray a whole bunch of graffiti all over everywhere, absolutely everywhere in this game. It has been simplified from the original, where we just press right trigger and it just sprays itself, which is pretty nice, and it gives a nice little graffiti camera so you can look at the wonderful art you've created. The graffiti camera, though, is probably the bane of all JSRF speedrunners, as it makes the controls somewhat difficult to use, as they're all camera relative and they shift really strangely if you happen to
Time to flush out those
if you happen to make any adjustments during it. So Now that Suprix has sprayed all of the graffiti here in Dogenzaka Hill, we get introduced to our first character, Beat.
Who you
He's
can
just
donate
gonna-
for.
Yeah, you can donate for. If you want him to finish the run, you can donate for that. Yeah, he'll just run around, run away a little bit, and then you'll get to race him in just a minute. There in the little pit there, Suprix picked up the mystery tape, or sometimes called mixtape for the level. That will be what allows him to unlock the remaining graffiti souls for each level, which we'll be doing in just a couple minutes, so we'll come back to that.
So something you're seeing me do at the ends of boosts and rails is it looks like I'm sort of grinding on the ground. That's called a shuffle, and the reason why that's important is that it puts our character in a state where our speed decreases much more slowly than it usually does. Excuse me, I need to do this trick.
Yep, this
Good.
trick involves jumping over a trigger zone that would require us to talk to DJ Professor K, or he'll inform us about how graffiti stops work. Alright, Beat Race, place your bets on the final time of this race. Should be in the low 120s.
Anyway, yeah, to finish my explanation about the shuffle, the reason why it's important is that at the end of boosts like this, we stay at that high boost speed for a lot longer than if we were to just skate out of the boost normally. So at the end of boost, we shuffle and our speed decreases much more slowly. We're essentially milking more speed out of a higher speed state, and it works for rails too and wall rides and everything.
Yep. For reference, a boost itself saves about 2 seconds, while just compared to normal skating, the shuffle saves an additional 2 seconds. So if you get a full-length shuffle, it basically saves the entirety of a boost in time. So all of those 4-second time saves, 2 to 4 second time saves, really add up throughout a run. So you'll be seeing all the movement tech used all over this all over this run. Is movement around Tokyo To, the fictional world we're in, is by far the most important thing as far as getting a good time here. Alright, Beat Race is finished. 1:22.55 is the final time. Like Digital Duck is closest, nice guess there. And we are introduced to the Rokaku police. Well, outside of the cutscene, we'll see them actually in world for the first time. After Beat says some stuff about how the police are super hardcore and then runs away from them.
And they probably ain't looking for your autographs. Let's
So,
use those
there's a bunch of cop fights throughout this game. They're pretty simple for the most part. They get increasing in difficulty throughout the run. These cops, though, with the standard white jerseys, are knocked over in a single hit and get sprayed in, what, a tenth of a second or something like that. I think it's 3 or 6 frames. And we make quick work of 10 cops there.
Some kind of ugly.
Alright, let's talk about some challenges here. This rail right here is worth extra points if you grind on it. There are 5 different types of challenges per level. There's a grind combo, air combo, tricks combo, points combo, and then a special challenge for each level. Suprix there unlocked all 5 challenges on that single rail, and is moving over to Shibuya Terminal, and he'll pick up those graffiti souls in Dogen a little bit later.
Cover up that freaky looking graffiti.
So something else I want to mention is that
Poison jam.
some people can talk when they play. I am not one of those people. So during gameplay, I'm probably not going to talk. I tried explaining a shuffle during Beat Race, and then I forgot to boost, so I learned my lesson.
Fair enough. We did get the best line in the entire game, though, as DJ Professor K introduces Poison Jam, our kind of rival gang of the streets for the first couple chapters of this game. We are attempting to spray over all their graffiti and not get hit by traffic in the process. So This is personally one of my favorite levels to just route and play through. It's a big open area with rails everywhere, so the movement, nice dodge. The movement is really interesting, and the routing decisions can vary widely. A lot of the more linear levels, like Dogenzaka Hill, have a defined route where it's very clear the fastest way to go through things. Shibuya Terminal is the exact opposite, where it's a big square basically, and there's a whole bunch of different opportunities for different types of routes. One thing you see Suprix doing after all these buses is quick turning and hopping. Quick turning is a way of turning 90 degrees very quickly while keeping your speed up by animation canceling. And hopping prevents the ill effects of graffiti camera, as you can't turn in air nearly as much as you can skid out on the ground. Right. Poison Jam has been talked to. They're gonna try and assert dominance by proving that you can't do these tricks, and Suprix is gonna go run around the map and do the tricks better. So, now take that, Poison Jam. Over there in the distance, you can see the mystery tape for Shibuya Terminal. So we're going to go ahead and pick that up after this quite long cutscene where Poison Jam teaches you that you can actually navigate the map in a pretty interesting way. People have been on the ground level the whole time. They show you that you can go over the traffic using the rails and all that stuff. And it's actually it's a good way of doing a tutorial without telling people exactly how to play, but just showing them, hey, these are the things your character can do.
Nice.
Nice.
Let's go back and redo that, shall we?
Yep, that's Air 3 unlocked.
Not where it's supposed to be unlocked.
Yep, we're gonna go ahead and grab this little trick sequence is gonna allow us to unlock grind, points, tricks, and air. There's a nice double unlock. Double unlocks basically skip the animation of unlocking graffiti souls, which saves about 2 seconds each and combines them into one full event. So they create some really interesting and like trippy world effects as different parts of the map spring up into each other and all sorts of wild stuff. It's one of my favorite minorly consequential time saves in the run. So.
And there's the king of all multi-unlocks later in the run of Highway Zero.
Oh, that's so impressive. That one is an incredible one. The one in Dogenzaka Hill that was just done is the easiest one, but it is a triple unlock, which is really, really cool. Of course, the Xbox has a tough time rendering out a triple unlock, so it lags a little bit, but that's not a big deal because we have an in-game timer that compensates for lag.
Yeah, that's what that timer in the top left corner of the game screen is. It compensates for lag and it removes load times. So we can have a fair competition.
Fair competition is good competition, so yeah, there's a whole bunch of ways that you can modify your Xbox to help increase or decrease load times and improve performance and all that stuff, but we've opted for relatively equal ground for a lot of our runners, which has really helped the game since it was released in late 2018, I believe. That was the combo challenge. Combo says do this trick just like Poison Jam did, and then we did the trick better. So yeah, he was pretty impressed, and he's going to go ahead and join us. If you want Combo to be the character we finish this run with, you can donate for that as well.
Oh, I know some of you do.
I believe that one's already on the like some people have already donated for Combo. So that's
yeah. And we also have another donation. Whenever it's
we'll do it in this upcoming cutscene in just a minute. Yeah, I'll let you know. We're gonna go ahead though. Hayashi's gonna show up. He's the leader of the Rokkaku police, and we're gonna take him and all the cops down. Even though you don't actually have to spray Hayashi to finish this cop fight for some reason. He's on the tracker, he's part of those 21 cops. There's 4 groups of 5 in him. But the check isn't there for Hayashi, so we don't spray him. Because your waste cans and it's slow. And that's the end of chapter 1.
The station feared and revered.
So you can go ahead with the donation.
Okay, awesome. So we got $10 from Anonymous saying, we are even between Combo and Soda now, so who is it gonna be? And who does Suprix himself want to finish with? And who does he absolutely not want to finish with?
They followed up their performance at Shibuya Terminal with
Oh
encores at
boy.
Chuo
Well,
Street and
optimally,
Gaku
you would
Dai
finish with
Ice.
Jazz.
Those poison jam
So if
punks
you care about
And I know
speed,
their
you should consider that.
And I know that there are Jazz fans in the chat. I know there are. I know people are.
I know there's Scarf Boys, Scarf Girls.
These ladies hate seafood with a passion.
Who do I not want to finish?
Poison jam.
Probably? Would you say Rith or Yo-Yo, since it completely destroys the, since they spray faster and it kind of destroys your management?
And then
I guess. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, they're just... It's the same detriment as Combo, but without the meme. Because Combo's cornering is, like, hilariously bad. Yo-Yo's is just bad.
Check this out.
That is a good point. Cornering is the most important stat in this game. If you
And why?
look,
You may ask.
there's a bunch of different values for cornering, and it is vitally important to have a good cornering. Every other stat is like,
Stop with this fool.
when you think about it, but it doesn't really matter. Cornering is the only stat that matters in the speed run. So when we play this game, we will select Gum, as we just have, and we will play pretty much the rest of the game with Gum, because she's just the best character we have for about 95% of the scenarios.
Are you hearing this or what? Is your heart pounding with the beat?
We're going to go ahead and do a nice boost shuffle on the way over to
I'm counting on y'all.
Chuo Street, which is our next place that has to be sprayed. As far as the story is concerned, Poison Jam has just gone on and sprayed 2 more areas, and we have to go assert dominance over them, and I don't know, we have to cover it up. It's well written. Alright, this is the first timed cop section of the game. Suprix is gonna go ahead and do a nice jump from the rail all the way up to this large graffiti on the side, and then go ahead, grab some extra cans, and exit the trigger zone for the upcoming cop fight before it's spawned in. What that'll allow us to do is spray all of this graffiti that we need to do before the cops show up, let us refill on cans, and most importantly, pick up the mystery tape that'll allow us to get challenges after the cop fight. That's a recent addition.
Yeah, that's a few weeks ago. We were talking about experimental Chuo when working on the website, and I realized it's free time save in this category.
My goodness, Suprix. The website, what could that be?
I'll plug it at the end of the run.
Alright, sounds
So
good.
if you're impressed with what you see and you want to do it yourself, stick around to the end of the run.
Just a short time away. Alright, the cops decide that two battalions of troopers wasn't enough, so they decide to take the next logical step and bring in 6 fully armored tanks to come in and take you out. Unfortunately, they didn't bring their special, I don't know, anti-paint coating that they put on the tanks these days or something. I mean, it's obviously a problem in modern society, so we're able to just go ahead, tag the 2 sides of the tank, left, right, that disables the gun, and then the guy pops out, and we spray him, and he is out. So that disables each tank. We take out all 6, and then head up to the top platform to confront Hayashi for the second time. Lots of boost shuffling here to go ahead and get over to Hayashi as quick as possible. Alright, it is, many people will know that you can launch him off the top of this platform to go ahead and end the fight immediately, but it's actually faster with with a setup to go ahead and just spray them down. If we found a consistent setup to knock them off the building 100% of the time, it would be fastest, but that is not what we have currently. Alright, that was the Air Force ult, unlocked and picked up in the exact same location. That's probably one of my favorites. Pick up overall.
Nice. Good turn.
Oh wow, that was almost really, really cool though.
Nice cinematic angle. I also missed the blue can, so I can't boost here.
It's a little bit of a bummer, but yeah, Suprix has done a really great job of optimizing this category. You know, it's a long 3-hour category, but I'm really impressed every time I watch it of how many like optimized boosts and can routes that you've put into the run. So I really like seeing it.
Yeah, I actually could have boosted, so never mind. Goes to show what I know. Yeah.
Yeah, can management, or what we'll call canagement for short. Yeah, we're gonna make sure we grind that right. Is a critical part of this run, and only becomes more difficult the more things you have to do, and the balance between how many cans you want to pick up, how many boosts you want to do, and all of that. Alright, that soul floating in air unlocked was the 25 trick soul? 25? 30? Somebody will correct me in chat.
Something like that. It's free.
And then we're going to go ahead and get the Chuo special soul, which is kind of infamously buggy, but we figured out exactly how it works sometime in 2019, so we now know that you just have to grind that first rail for a second, and then make it to anywhere kind of down by that half pipe area. So that was being able to get that consistently was a big boost for the 100% and 100% no post-game categories.
Yeah. We've essentially figured out all the weird special challenges so that there's almost none of that RNG in the run, except for 13 platforms, but that's just because it's bad.
Yeah, we've looked into 13 platforms, and I don't understand it, but we'll get to that when that's an actual issue. Trick jump, rip.
Trick jump of shame.
So above a certain speed in this game, you will trick jump instead of hop. While you're in air, you lose no speed in Jet Set Radio Future, which is really nice. So we want to take a high speed, relatively high speed, and go into the air as often as possible with it without trick jumping, because that preserves that speed. And so by hopping, we will maintain a faster than skating speed for longer. And that's Chuo Street.
This is Rokkaku Dai Heights.
One thing we did conveniently bypass was the Poison Jam race in Chuo Street. Normally, Poison Jam would race us, and then you have to talk to him like 3 or 4 times here and watch another minute of Poison Jam running around cutscenes. We have a little bit of a skip that we'll see in a minute that will completely bypass that. Probably top 2 or so most famous skips in JSRF. It's like the first 2 skips you learn as a beginner runner, so a lot of people do know about this. It does send us to the other side of the level though, so we need to make sure that we spray this front half, this first half of the graffiti before we go ahead and do our little walk through the wall kind of trick coming up. Alright, what we're going to do is jump on these houses here, go ahead and clip through a wall where they just kind of forgot to put the texture in there, or the hitbox in there, and then fall into the water here. Falling into water or into a void in this game sends you to certain respawn locations, and those locations, in this case, are mapped to the back of the map, and so we are able to skip that gate that Suprix was near. Nice XL, that was nice looking. And allows us to bypass that, which Poison Jam usually has to knock down. Blink and you'll miss him. The armored cop there requires a boost to go ahead and knock down. we take care of that very quickly. Some cops ran into the electric fence because they are the brightest cops ever programmed in this entire
That was
game.
really funny. It made me laugh.
And takes care of that cop fight really easily. So
Normally they don't do that, but sometimes they're very special.
yeah, I mean, we've played this game hundreds of times, and there's always just little character moments, intended or not, that are just really funny.
Yeah. Missing tags left and right.
Yeah, that's alright though. The extra large and the large graffitis do require a little bit of slowing down. All of the others do not. So managing your speed through that is kind of important. Nice step around the invisible wall. And here is going to be the kind of last skip of the Crocodile Heights. We're going to kind of navigate carefully around a cop fight trigger. This cop fight is the largest one in the game. There are 23 cops, and it lags a whole bunch, and we really don't like that. So being able to kind of just carefully meander around the hitbox is really nice in terms of avoiding that. Should have birthday cake playing pretty soon. Go ahead and, if it's your birthday in the chat, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
You know, there's 170 people here. Statistically, about a 50-50 chance that someone's birthday in chat. Rip cams.
I knew I should have grabbed some of those.
There is a cop fight right next to that large graffiti. So we go ahead and, again, carefully don't walk into it. And then we finish the level, which despawns all the cop fight triggers. So there we go. This tape, the mystery tape for Crocodile Heights, is in that train station there. There is almost, we have to get that last. There is no alternative to the route. So there's really nothing we can do with it in that level. So we're gonna just go ahead, as we did, unlock air and points, as those both spawn in the bottom half of the level, and we'll save everything else for later.
This is 99th Street, the city's hottest nightlife scene.
On to 99th Street, which a lot of people, myself included, agree is one of the best looking levels in the game.
Because it's where the mafia kingpins keep their office.
It's like the perfect cell shaded level.
Yeah, it's really well done. There's a lot of bright, vibrant color. There's a lot of contrast. The pink and like magenta mixed with the dark blue and purple really creates some awesome looking scenes in this level. Alright, we're going to go ahead and move over to the light side. There's the center, the light, and the dark areas in 99th Street. But we're going to do it a little bit of an abnormal way. We're going to go ahead and jump off the dragon's tail onto the top of the wall, and then just boost over and fall through the just textured non-hitbox areas, and fall into the cop fight from above, and that is much faster than just running to it through the intended path. Nice little Goomba stomp on the police spotlight there. That's a difficult trick, just to jump on that, because the geometry on those police spotlights is so wonky sometimes.
Definitely not meant to step on them.
Yeah, that is for sure, but that trick's gotten consistent over the years. Oh,
Yeah, I was laughing at me right now.
unfortunate. Oh, that's... There we go, got the reverse. Thank you, Suprix. I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
I just think it's too cool not to go for it.
I agree, Suprix. I couldn't imagine not doing that. So, now that the cops have been taken out, we're gonna go ahead and spray everything on the light side area here, and 99th is really where kind of the grinding of this game really shows itself well. There are lots of power lines in these brightly colored purple things. that allow you to move around the map in an interesting way. That right there was the umbrella jump. That's a recently added jump, and looks pretty good. That we shuffled through there to try and get a little bit of a speed, but a little bit of time saved by cutting the corner, but that hitbox trying to get through there is really, really weird. So, you know, you deal with it sometimes. Right, next trick in the run, we're gonna go ahead, spray this graffiti stop, which we don't normally do, switch characters twice to get back to gum. Go ahead, let the cops talk for just a little bit, then interrupt that with DJ Professor K. In Jet Set Radio feature, the cops, we'll see this come up in the future, the cops must finish talking before their triggers activate. That's why it works in, what we did worked in Chuo Street, and why we can work with some of the tricks here. So by interrupting the cop's dialogue, we have essentially never let him finish, and that means there are no more cop fights for this level until we reload it again, but we're not going to do that. Suprix went ahead, picked up the tape, started doing a double unlock there. We had a power line clipping through the floor, which was really cool. Did we get the huh? Oh, we did get the huh. Excellent.
Consistent huns are the best huns.
That really is. Huh happens. DJ Professor K says huh whenever he's supposed to say two things, two like open world things at the same time. So he's going to say sweet when he gets 30 tricks, but he also got a graffiti soul, and DJ K just cannot handle two things at once, and so he just gets confused. And the faster we go, the more huns exist, and the more confused even DJ K gets at this run. And that was all 5 souls unlocked. That was grind and points picked up in the double unlock.
So here's a new route. Ooh, I'm going to focus on something called Quick Dark.
Yes, that is new.
Alright. So
Nice.
because of that, out of bounds, we have a new graffiti route, at least for this category.
Yep, this has been quick. That hop to dark side has been known for quite a while, but it really didn't have any use until Suprix put it into a route. I would say like a month ago. This is a very recent trick as far as Jet Set Radio feature is concerned, and this is a very impressive route. So
Yeah,
nice job
saves
there.
about
16.
Yeah, 16, 17 seconds in this category. Saves about 1 second and 80%. But of course, you're gonna do it because any percent is any percent.
80%'s really competitive for a speed run of this size. Like, we have 50 to 60 runners on our leaderboards, but 80% is a very optimized run, and it's impressive watching these runners.
It's insane how far a very small group of runners have pushed this game. Like, you usually don't see that. I think that's what makes it a really good speed game, or it's something that you only see in a really good speed game.
Yeah, there's a lot of good parts. Nice crouch cam there. Very appreciative. We're gonna go ahead and do a flag battle with Rapid 99. I believe this is the only flag battle of the run, so we're gonna go ahead and challenge all 3 of these Rapid 99 ladies to a flag battle. There are 5 flags that will spawn around the map. We will pick up 3 of them, as that's the minimum required to win. And for some reason, 3 of them cannot beat 1 of you, because they have the tactics of a toddler. So, first one
They
spawns.
kind of like fight each other, which is really weird.
yeah, they like bump into each other.
Yeah, they can like
go
own each
the
other.
exact same way. It's a real big brain strategy that they employ. First one of the flags spawned on the light side, and the second one spawns on the dark side. We don't want to race them to the dark side, and it's faster to pick up the 2 far away flags first. So we let Rapid 99 pick up the light, we pick up the dark. We can race them back to the highway flag. There's one that spawns underneath, right where we got the mystery tape earlier. They can pick that one up easily. We grab the one on top of the tower. Quick flag is complete, and that's the end of chapter 2.
Jet Set Radio.
So that is quick flag, by the way. If you go fast enough, you can you'll pick up that third flag, such that Rapid 99 can easily pick up the fourth flag on the very bottom. So we want them to pick up the easiest flags and us to pick up the most difficult flags. We can pick those up in roughly the same time.
And twice as smelly. Who's funky, y'all?
Make sure to hydrate.
Not to lose track of the exit.
Make sure to hydrate. I actually need to get some hydration at some point, but we have a couple breaks through this run, as I just realized I'm talking for 3 hours, and we are 1/6 of the way through, and I'm like, wow.
From what I heard, Poison Jam's got a
You're doing
boss.
great.
Feeling
Anyone
prepared.
who can organize those fellas has got to
Oh, you're doing great.
mean dude.
I appreciate it. I
Probably loves
appreciate it.
fish too.
So, chat is showing up with some Aisle 10, which is a kind of a memed on song at this point because of how many people remember it. If there's like a top 3 songs people remember from this game, Aisle 10 is one of them. So, it's pretty funny.
Ooh, double. Ah,
Double frame boost. Cool, I can talk about frame boost, Suprix. Thank you very much. That was a nice one at the end, too. A frame boost. So, when you land on a rail, your speed gets multiplied, so you can get up to grinding speed instantaneously from the ground. It's multiplied by 1.4 something. 10/7, if you're really curious. After the very first frame, the speed cap is applied, but only after the first frame. So the speed cap caps your grinding speed at a set value. If you jump, however, you are not subject to that speed cap, as it only applies on the second frame. So if you chain multiples of those together, you can get much faster than the game ever intended for you to get. And this can lead to some crazy movement speeds when you chain 5 or more of those together.
yeah. So as implied by the name, a frame boost is frame perfect, and this game is 60 frames per second. So that's 1/60th of a second every time. And the fact that some people still can chain together 7 or 8 frame boosts in an IL is really impressive.
Yep. That is, it's definitely one of the hardest things to do in the game consistently, but if you can do it, it genuinely can bring down your time. But it's pretty tough. We're doing the Garum tutorial now, so he's going to teach us about half pipes and all the wonderful weirdness that goes with them. So we have to do some jumps, which we jumped really low so we could do them faster. We had to do 3, just like the garage. We had to do some hand plants, which speed you up real fast, and then you put them both together. And you get a hand plant jump, which sends you really high. And we're supposed to use that in the sewers, which we'll definitely see.
Not in the way they intended.
Yeah. Alright, so if you're expecting a sewer skip, which is where we skip the entire sewers, we need Garum for this run. So it is all categories, or all characters. Garum is a character, and you can't unlock him if you do sewer skip. So we actually have to do the sewers, which I think is the first time we've shown that in a marathon. I actually can't think of another category where we've done the full sewers.
I know C7 and Finger Quick did 100% at NASA at some point. I think that happened.
That was in the 1800s, though. Like, actually centuries ago.
Oh yeah.
But
So
nice little trick there. Nice.
yeah. So sewers is tough. That's all I'm
Yeah,
gonna say about that.
Sewers is a hard level. Casually playing it between sewers and the bottom point, which is just kind of a sewers extension, it takes like an hour to hour and a half for the average person to kind of go through them. But with a lot of practice technique, you can get through them rather quickly.
So here's
we
one of
picked up-
those half hand plant jumps.
I'll give you time to do it. Alright, nice job. Jump up. So, what
Say
we
hi to
did
the
there-
alligator.
Ooh. Yes.
Say hi to your
Or
boy.
the salamander, or whatever creature you wish those 12 polygons to be. Very famous part of the series. Everybody looks at it. We have no idea why it's included, why it's a thing, but it's kind of an adorable little loving character. That definitely should be playable. So we did a hand plant jump there with a boost attached to it to make it a little bit more consistent. That allowed us to get to the center platform, that center structure. There's a graffiti soul there for us to pick up, which is nice, and then boost it over to the switches. You have to spray all the switches to release the gate to get into the next part of the game. That was Brown Room. You normally have to do like a actually quite difficult, like slow movement section to like jump over a couple gaps and skate in a relatively small area, but if you just do a nice boost there, you just skip the whole thing, and that's great. So, Sewers unfortunately doesn't have a good skip up to the next level that's super consistent, and we need to unlock tricks along the way anyway. So, we're gonna go
And even
ahead.
if we could, there's always like either a switch or a tag here.
Yeah.
So we just can't.
Yep. There's a switch at the start of this really, or at the end of this really long hallway. So, yeah, no fun skips here, but it is just good movement to go ahead, keep going along these paths, and just make it through the sewers pretty quickly as we approach the top. Up here at the top is the only high-value point rail that we can use to unlock points in this game, or in this level, so we have to use that. The high-value rails are worth 50 times as much, and the points challenges are, for all practical purposes, impossible or impractical to do on normal point rails, so we do them on these high-value rails. The special challenge for this level is to get more points, so we do that. I don't really know why, it's just more points, but we'll take the breaks that we can get. This is a nice little route that grabs switches and graffiti souls all at the same time. And then we go down this pipe here that indicates the end of the level.
Gate to the underworld is
So
open.
we face plant while spraying graffiti.
Will Gum survive? Stay tuned.
The suspense.
Hey, she's fine.
Oh, thank goodness. She only lost.
Thank God she was wearing a helmet.
Yeah, wear your helmets. No, really. Wear helmets. You save lives.
Sounds like poison jam.
And that is all of the sewers for now. We'll get to spray graffiti there later, but this is kind of one of those non-graffiti levels to start. We're going to pick up the very well hidden tape at the start here. Go ahead and grab points on these spiral rails. The second points challenge again, because, video game. And then go ahead and unlock tricks by doing a trick called Del Transfer, which allows you to instantly change direction on a half pipe rail only. So, and then we're going to go ahead and clip through that little girder there and fall into the poison jam fight. So lots going on in a very short amount of time in bottom point. We'll be back in bottom point in a little while. But yeah, there's a lot of very quick stuff that goes into the start of that level. So, this is the Poison Jam fight. Poison Jam is I would say, the hardest Tigers tag fight in the game, as they take 30 cans each to knock out most of the time. And they take more complex routes than a lot of the other Tigers tag opponents. So, we can spray that one right off the break pretty easily. There's no difficulty there. We're going to pick up some of these cans down here on the slope. Refill up to 30 and then come spray the second guy. We're going to jump past him to spray him just a couple extra times. Drop it in from the half pipe rail to get right behind him in perfect space. And then tag him down. Excuse me. And then go ahead and finish the last guy off by picking up yet another set of 30 cans. And if done properly, he'll just be skating around in this kind of bottom area. Kind kind of nervous because I didn't see him for a while.
Yeah, he actually sprayed me. So when you do the jump across, if the middle one sprays you, there's actually a chance it'll break his AI, and then he takes this really like absolute degenerate path that wastes a lot of time.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Handling is difficult in half pipes, and he just kind of runs in between two half pipes on a rail, and we can't use much speed tech to catch up to him on rail, so it becomes really, really difficult. Anybody who's like done that fight improperly will absolutely just like, you do not want to deal with it. So, we're gonna go, that's the end of chapter 3. Chapter 4 is coming up. Let me see really quick. Do we have any donations come in recently? This would be a great time because we won't have time for a while.
Yeah, so we have a donation here, and I'll read it up for you. We got $10 saying, Ace, you are doing great, sweetie. Let's donate for Ace to get some breaks. Donation goes towards Jazz.
Oh, that's after chapter 4. Ooh, donation towards Jazz. The Jazz army is showing up.
Yeah, so we've got $10 for Jazz there, and currently in the lead, we've got, it's a draw actually between Soda and...
combo still.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
And we are actually so close to $700 raised, so if you want to see Jazz up there as the player, now's the time to donate.
Awesome. All right. Thank you very much for the donations. We are headed into chapter 4. Yeah,
chapter 4 is really hard.
Yeah.
To put it mildly.
Yeah, the better you get at the game, the harder chapter 4 gets. It's this real... almost paradox of this kind of game where you need to get better strats and you need to do harder strats better, and we keep optimizing this game. And chapter 4 has gone from like a difficult kind of section to, if you want to do it perfectly, like almost painfully difficult at times. So hoping for the best possible chapter 4 that we can possibly get. Right here we're going to talk with, the cops are going to talk at us for about 30 seconds. During that time we want to spray a couple graffitis, or get through the center area, climb up a bunch of stairs, and then spray some graffiti. Oh, that is
a pixel early.
Yep, that is a quite precise jump where you have to catch onto the corner of that staircase to make that jump, and it has only like a 3-ish frame window, 2 to 3 frame window to make it work. So that's a real tough jump, and that is one of a very large handful of jumps that must be done in only a couple.
I went for it again. Maybe not the smartest backup.
Yeah.
Usually the best backup is not to do the same thing again.
Hey, Einstein said something about that. Don't worry about it. So, the Terror Drone has shown up. It is the newest, hottest invention on the street. Get yours today. If you have Rudy's spray in your streets, it launches bombs. It dies in only Tor spray tags.
Still haven't gotten that anti-spray armor yet.
Yeah, I mean, you would think, but the technology just isn't there yet, and it's a real shame for him. And, you know, it looks great with Suprix's tags on top of it. And there it goes. What a fight. I'll tell you though, if you fall down on that fight, it can become a real disaster really quickly.
Yeah, that's kind of the general theme for Hikage, because the entire level is vertical, which doesn't really suit this game very well, so if you fall, you're automatically losing a ton of time.
Yeah, they integrated a lot of verticality into Jet Set Radio Future, which is really cool. A lot of these levels are much more vertical than the originals, and it creates some really interesting dynamics in a lot of levels. They just missed the mark in Hikage. There is one way up, and it's grind for 30 seconds for a casual player. And any fall or any slight mismovement is punishable by fall damage and by, guess you can't do that, and go climb back up again. Like it's
not forget
really
these.
punishing. Forget those cans.
I would like, what would I like? It's a nice little do 20.
Yeah. Also, for some reason, they made cans very sparse in this level. It's rare that you have an issue with the number of cans you have, especially playing a game the first time through. We run the can management, or as I'll say, guaranteed management. It's just easier to say. We run it very tight because we like to play an optimized speed game. But this is one of the levels where you can actually have a lot of issues, even just playing this casually. So, and like this section here that he's coming up with, good remembering grabbing that tape, because that can be easy to forget. I mean, this section here has only cans at the very, very top and off weird jumps. So,
That's another thing, that your other source of cans is cop fights, but that's RNG, unfortunately. So before you spray the last cop, you need to make sure you're okay with your can count.
yep, that is very important. If you end that fight with low cans, mainly not this one, but the one on the other side of the level, nice Quickage jump. It can be kind of difficult. Quickage is a portmanteau of quick and Hikage because we are very clever at naming things. And it is a 2-frame jump where you have to get a very specific angle, speed, and position. Go ahead and make that corner jump. Air 4 went ahead and grabbed Air 4 souls right there, so we went ahead and picked that up. And that was the entire left side done very, very well. And that Quickage jump is one of the more difficult jumps in the game, but it's not impossible to get into. Thanks to the quick save mod, you can just run and test it, practice at it 100 times in 15 minutes or something, and start to get the hang of it pretty quickly.
I used my can. Whoops.
Did you? Oh, really?
I got that one frame of spraying it.
Yep. We'd like to be able to hit those armored cops immediately, but a little bit of unlucky frames allowed us, or prevented us from
Where'd he go?
having 10 cans.
So look at this guy. You don't want to be this guy who tackles nothing and then gets iframes for no reason.
Yeah.
And then I
Cops
have to wait.
iframes for no really explained reason. After they dive, they sit on the ground. They can't be sprayed. They can't be boosted. And even after they get up, they have to like manually reset themselves before they can be boosted, or you'll just kind of clip through them. What? Video game, why? Lots of things in Hikage and in Chapter 4 in general can just go wrong, because it's just a lot more punishing than the other levels. Is that going to curve? Yeah, it is. So that's the Hikage special. It is rather poorly explained, but you basically have to grind the top rail for 2 seconds, then land near the bottom of the stairs. However method you take to do that is your own device. Then we have to unlock 300,000 points, which is probably the most difficult points challenge in the game. Because this rail is relatively short to the number of points you have to get, which can only be done in like a single grind and jump combo. If you land on another rail, you will have your points reset. And there's 55 tricks picked up right at the end of our line. So nice job there getting all those unlocks. That's one of my favorite kind of unlock routes.
Just enough cans.
Can
I can't. Yeah. My cans really suck after that really bad cop fight.
Yep. This right side area has cops, or really, really rough. Of course. Has really, really sparse cans littered around it, and you have to go really out of your way. There's none at the very top where all the tags are. It's like, why would the design decisions for Hikage are suboptimal at best, I'd like to say, but no. You take them. we're gonna go ahead and grab. That's a fairly precise, like it's not speedrun crazy precise, but it is a fairly precise jump to go ahead and grab that graffiti soul in the cubby there. And
so now that we're done with Hikage, we're on our way to Kibo. When I enter Kibo, I'm going to unplug and replug my controller during the cutscene to get my dashes back, and Ace is going to explain why that's at all important.
So the next trick coming up is Heli Skip, and this is where like the ominous piano sounds would play and the thunder cracks in the background and things like that. Heli Skip is by far the hardest trick in the game, and we need every single bit of movement tech we possibly can imagine to make this work. And it even comes so much as to unplugging our controller and replugging it in during a cutscene so it doesn't pause anything, so that we can go ahead and get dashes which allow us to accelerate faster. And we're talking like 3 or 4 frames of acceleration better. That's it. It still matters. It's such a precise trick. So I'm gonna just go ahead and let Suprix do that trick. Now that he is in Kibo, give him some good time to do it. Bless RNG.
With the noise tanks controlling the Immortals, they've managed to spread their turf all the way out here. Bury all the Immortals graffiti in your own paint.
It's the first half. And the boost for safety. This might be close. Alright. Grab the
Nice
soul.
job.
Don't fall in the water. If I fall in the water, I will retire.
Hold on.
I'd rather fall in the hole than fall in the water.
Yeah, we
on.
take those.
Yeah.
We take those all day.
Let me just skate to safety very slowly. Oh, alright, we did it.
Well done. Claps in the chat with the hog.
Shaken.
I was nervous just watching it.
I had a slow boost out of the save point. And it was
Yeah.
I almost went back and retried.
Yeah, you almost just like go back and do it again. So, Heli Skip, that is 2 cycles, so we reset the cop dialogue twice. One to start the first cycle, where we go ahead and spray a bunch of those large tags, go ahead and clean up, grab extra cans, and then do the escape. We have to get out to essentially the end of that wire where we were just real scared to get to before the cop dialogue runs out. And if you do it absolutely perfectly with no frame boost, which are essentially RNG because it's really hard to press a button at the correct time, you have about a 1/4 second window on both cycles to do that, to do a nearly 30 seconds worth of perfect movement. Only the top runners do that consistently, and Suprix has been working very, very hard to get that really, really consistent. So, well done there.
Thank you. Alright, the rest of the round could be absolute garbage. I don't care.
Perfect. This is the hustle. There we go. You fall in the water, DJK tries to laugh at you, but then you pick up a graffiti soul and he's just plain confused. That's okay. So we're gonna go ahead, finish up the graffiti here, and then we're gonna go ahead and unlock all of the graffiti souls for the rest of Kibo as they spawn in the front half of the level. and then the only place to do this optimally is at the end of the level here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. That's the grind soul. Nice, there's points. We're going to take a precise jump across to power lines, climb up those power lines, which can be very finicky in their magnetism, grab the trick soul, and then jump down, get the air soul, and 4 in air, and then do the very difficult special soul by walking through that gate.
This is the Two World Soul. Shout out to Two Worlds.
Shout out to Two Worlds. Has he run this at NASA before as part of a race? I know he has. I watched him do it.
He did 80%, where he probably got that soul.
I think that was NASA 2017. I would
16 or 17.
Where they had a race or something. Yeah, Two Worlds picks that soul up. It has been deemed suboptimal for now. And probably for the remainder of any percent runs, but we have to pick it now. So, because we have to pick up every soul in the game, so shoutouts to Two Worlds for that soul. So, that was Kibo. That was there's a lot of stuff to do in Kibo. It happens very quickly and it's very tough, but...
So by contrast, the next level, Skyscraper, is a bit of a breather. Even though there is a very real chance that the run could die here if I don't manage my health.
Yep. The casual run has a lot of trouble with Skyscraper because it's a very, very, very large level. And if you fall to your death, which is very common, and will be using intentionally, you will just appear in a different spot on the map, which can be difficult for playing through it for the first time. So, yeah, that's going to be right up here.
This right here is the Skyscraper District in Faro Park, an open-air
out the
garden
hands.
built by some
Yeah.
At least skip
in
cramps.
Tokyo, and the holy
Yeah,
sanctuary
that's
of the
how-
immortals.
That's the feel
Do
right
me a
now.
favor, give the immortals nasty graffiti a facelift.
Trying to sync up. Everything good here? I'm getting a little bit of frame lag.
Everything seems good on that.
Alright, my feed is now behind the stream feed, so that would be counterproductive. So I'm going to see if I can re-grab this feed real quick. And I'll reconnect here, so give me just a moment. But we did just go ahead do a cop fight where we have 5 armored cops. If you hit them the right way, you go ahead and can hit them down all at the same time. And if you do it just right, you'll go ahead and finish up. The light suited cops will go ahead and stay together, which you can knock down pretty easily, finish that fight up. They can get a little scattered if you don't do that fast enough or get unlucky, because their pathing seems to be kind of random at times, but yeah. Alright, looks like I am reconnected and ahead of the stream once again, so that's good. I wouldn't want to be talking about things in the past too far.
So what I'm doing now might look pretty weird, but it is fast.
It is fast. The special challenge for Skyscraper is grind around the Pharaoh. At least that's what it says in English. Obviously, in Japanese, we can't read it, but we don't care. So, grind around. A lot of the special challenges are programmed very minimalistically, where they just kind of expect the player to do the right thing, and it'll work itself out and nobody is the wiser. However, we found out that all you have to do is stay around this area for 30 seconds. And that's it. That's all you have to do. So that is a mandated 30-second waiting period. While we do that, though, we can go ahead and grind, do 20 tricks while grinding, which allows us to get the grind soul and then jump over and get the air soul.
So
unlock the soul.
normally I would do a death warp here, but in the interest of In the interest of marathon safety, I'm going to forgo that one, so I don't have a chance of dying.
That is completely reasonable. You do get down to 1 HP essentially 1 HP in this, so that is a good marathon safe thing to do. We're going to go ahead and get the 110,000 points required for the point soul right before death working optimal right there, and then go out and start spraying graffiti. That death work there assumes you're falling from above. You are not, though. We actually jumped at it from below, so it sends us to a much farther away part of the map, which is great for us. Then we do a death warp again by boosting to land in a very specific spot, or in a specific zone, which allows us to spray those two graffitis, grab this graffiti soul, then boost and jump all the way back to the Fair Park, as we've completed everything on this side, I'll say in quotes, because there are essentially two sides of Skyscraper, but they're connected through a long set of places. That jump right there is called Funyun. It is an onion, and then it is a fun trick, so we called it Funyun. That's what it is. It's called Onion because of Shrek, so shout out to Shrek, the best anime. And, you know, you have some fun with naming things. This is a part where we would normally be at 1 HP, but we've grabbed a little bit extra health, so we're going to go ahead and be just fine. We didn't need it anyway, but it's always good to be marathon safe. Thumbs up. And that just lets us spray more graffiti. Death warp back is it saves just a couple seconds, and yeah, we're just gonna do a little bit more movement around this map to go ahead and spray the remainder of these graffitis. Checking bid index real quick. Cool. Alright, we're going to go ahead and boost through here, drop down to this tag, and then we're going to do a rather precise jump off of one of these platforms coming up here, where we're going to curl around the building and hit a death warp that normally you're not supposed to get to, but we get to it because we're special like that, and that sends us to a much closer location for the final graffiti tag here, which completes all the graffiti for Skyscraper District in like 5 minutes.
Death warps really cut this level down.
Yeah, Jabro created that route back in I think 2015, and that's like his favorite thing to mention every time. Shout out to Jabro, he's been here doing runs several times in the past.
Yeah. That route hasn't really changed. He kind of hit it out of the park with that route.
Yeah, that's one of the few unchanged Chapter 4 routes. We've modified very slight things to do stuff more optimally, but as far as like the base form of the route, it's been relatively unchanged for the last 5 years, and we've made a lot of changes in the last 5 years. So, with that, we went ahead and did an Immortals fight. You might have missed it if you, I don't know, looked away from your monitor for more than a quarter second. I genuinely don't know why that run, or that fight, is half a character long.
I always like to say that's exactly the moment you can pinpoint where they ran out of budget for development.
What happens? Well, we need to introduce this new area called Highway Zero. Okay, we already have this tagger's tag in Skyscraper. Well, just end it quickly and then do it again. Ah, perfect. That'll be a perfect stopgap. Well done, guys. And that was the development meeting in a nutshell. So this is the real Tagger's Tag fight. We're going to go ahead, grab a bunch of cans, and then spray down these Immortals who, contrary to their name, are very unimmortal and actually have the lowest health and spraying health in the entire game. So, you know, it's kind of like those snakes that disguise themselves as poisonous by having similar colors to poisonous snakes, but they're actually not, are venomous snakes. It's just deception by name, and oh my gosh, they got us. What a plot twist. Oh my god. And that's Chapter 4. That was a good Chapter 4 overall. Big claps.
Overall, yeah. That Terror Drone Huggy was kind of a mess, but yeah.
bad terror drone and bad cop fight cans, but past that, I mean,
Yeah, I'll take it.
as far as chapter 4s go, I would take that
I
chapter
mean, who
4.
would have thought that Yo-Yo would turn on his friends?
That's a good chapter
Guess
4
maybe they
overall.
are royalty after all.
We are moving into the most fun and interactive part of this game now in Death Ball.
Future site of the Rikaku Expo Stadium, located just off.
That was sarcasm.
The members of the noise
Yeah,
tanks
it's,
have been connected to the power
it's
supply
a-
of the stadium.
Let's
which
just
is
say
being
it's a
built
great
for the
time for
Rikaku
donations
Expo.
once Death Ball shows up. Let me just, I'll put that as kind of my evaluation of it. So, yeah, we'll get there in just a moment. As we'll literally have a 2-minute waiting period where we can do nothing. So, once we get there, we'll read a couple off.
Get your donations in, guys.
If you do it quickly, we'll read them out before this. Otherwise, we might have to do it in a couple chapters down the line. So,
Lag
Death
reduction.
Ball.
My first strat for this game that I contributed was
There you
staring
go.
at this wall. Doesn't even work.
Yeah, you know, back when this game was timed in real time, you stare at a wall so you limit the amount of frame lag, so you don't have
The only
to...
problem is that this place doesn't really lag, so
No, this is one of the smallest and least, like, detailed levels in the game, so it doesn't lag at all, and there's no issues whatsoever, so,
let's see if I can get.
yeah. Ooh, are we gonna try and do the clip through this? Alright.
Yeah.
Go ahead and read out some donations while we try and do this.
Okay, cool. So we've got a donation from Anonymous. It's a $25 donation. Very, very generous. Thank you so much, whoever donated that. And they say, yo, 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 yo. And that was obviously a donation to have you finish as Yo-Yo.
Thank you.
And that puts us actually at finishing the run as Yo-Yo as the lead right now. And we've got Combo on second, Soda on second as well, second place. And then Jazz on third with $10.
All right.
That you still have the ability to do so. And that donation also put us over $700 raised for Save the Children.
Big clap.
Hey, thank you.
So thank you everybody for donating and showing love and being here. It's very much appreciated and it goes to a great cause.
Thank you very much, everybody. We will be closing that donation incentive roughly in Skyscraper 2, which will be an hour and 15 minutes or so from now. So get your donations in the next hour and a little bit of change.
Just got it right at the end.
Oh, nice job. You just walk through that wall because, I don't know, we're Danny Phantom or something like that. That's as good of an explanation as anybody else can give. Don't say yes to Jazz, unfortunately, that will lose you 2 minutes. The only character, as far as like dialogues you have to say yes to, you say yes to literally everything in this game, except, do you want to practice again with Jazz? So, you know, you have to turn down Jazz, RIP Jazz fans.
First up, we have
So Death Ball, as we'll see, works in a very simple way. It's running around a map with a ball, and you have to do one lap. And it's a cool concept, especially if you have, like, 4 players of roughly equal skill, where you can make it a competition of, you can't boost with the ball because your ball becomes your boost power, but you can pass the ball. And other really interesting things, if the players are of same skill. Unfortunately, the AI is about as intelligent as, I don't know, I was gonna go with Drunk Monkey, but that would be insulting to alcoholic monkeys. It's genuinely just disappointing. The AI cannot complete a lap if you let them with the ball. It is actually painful trying to watch them complete a lap on their own. So what we do is we pick up the ball and we run a lap around. And because we can't even boost or apply hardly any movement tech to it, this is it. You just skate the map. We grind when possible, we shuffle, and then we hop. and that's it. There's really not a lot to Death Ball. That's how it was until March of this year. And honestly, the new strats are kind of hard and kind of finicky at times. Maybe not difficult, but finicky at times, all the time. But at least spices up Death Ball a little bit.
It's not an auto-scroller anymore.
Yeah, it's genuinely not an auto-scroller. Essentially, once you get good enough, that race is automatic, and you can finish it within a second 3 times in a row, and that's genuinely what you had to do. But in March 2020, we have kind of finalized the route for Death Ball kill strats, thanks to, I believe it was Bay of Cracks that came up with that as kind of the first published route of it, where we go ahead and abuse the low health of the Immortals, once again well named, and literally punch them to death. So yeah, that's what we do. So we're gonna go ahead, pick up this ball, and then hopefully do a clip to get outside the map, throw the ball away, so that way the AI turns off, as they don't know how to handle out of bounds. So we clip through there. That's one of the most well-known out of bounds. Wait for him to show up, we throw the ball away, and then all the AIs don't know what to do. So then we just bump into him to death, and that's it. And that saves between 0 if you do it wrong, or like get bad hit RNG, I don't know. You can lose time if you don't do stuff properly, but for the most part, if you get that clip, throw the ball away, you will save time in Death Ball. And how much is just how fast you hit them. While they're flashing red, they are invincible and can't be hit again. So we do have a little bit of a grace window where we can toggle between the two. And there we go, double kill on the Immortals. That was really fast. That was quite fast.
I guess after 5,000 years, they ain't got no brains left.
And then we do it again to the Love Shockers, because they have the exact same stats as the Immortals, so they have very little health, and we can run into them to death.
So the thing about this strat is combat in this game is really wonky and finicky. So sometimes when you go up to hit them, they can just tank it for no real reason, and then they get iframes, and then you just waste time just because. So
yeah,
it's kind of an RNG strat.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, there are setups, and for the most part you will save time, but yeah, it can just decide that a character doesn't want to take damage and you just lose 10 seconds because video game occurred. So we're gonna go ahead and do it again. We got the clip out of the map, which is just as much, I don't know, I feel it's kind of RNG-ish, but you know, it's great. I personally think that out of the runners I've seen do this consistently, Suprix's setup is absolutely fantastic. Managing your speed, I see the Love Shocker just tank that hit for absolutely no reason.
I also want to keep them together. So
yeah, you want to
travel time.
Yep, absolutely. So you want to bop them at very specific, like generally together. It doesn't have to be that specific, but you want to group them up so your travel time is minimized, so you can hit them on cooldown. But yeah, Jet Set Radio Future was never meant for true melee combat. It's just kind of so players don't collide into each other and can cause people to drop the ball and things like that. So yeah, it's based on like movement speed and angles, and it's just kind of weird. So it still works though, and that saved about, I would argue, about 15-20 seconds or so over standard Death Ball, so well done. And Jazz was just dancing on the second platform up there, unaware to the complete murder that was happening not 20 feet away from him. But now Hayashi's gonna laugh at us for like 45 seconds. So, they decided that the Terror Drone 1.0 was not enough, and So they brought in Terror Drone 2.0, identical in all ways to the Terror Drone 1.0, but with an extra donut maker on the bottom, which we call the Krispy Kreme, because it makes little donut cream circles out of the bottom, and you know.
This cutscene would be long over on English.
Yeah, this is much longer in Japanese, like 15 to 20 seconds longer in Japanese, because he just talks. This goes on and on and on. But we can finish the fight rather quickly if you just board the Terror Drone just like that, spray all 3 tags on it, and then hit the little particle Krispy Kreme donut thing on the bottom side, and that's the end of that. We think that's pretty cool.
Ha! Cool. Those things ain't nothing but scrap metal now.
Thanks, DJK. I thought it was cool too. And that's the end of Chapter 5.
The station that'll teach
So,
you the things your parents and
going
teachers
into
are too
Chapter
afraid
6,
to.
we've kind of...
Jet Set Radio!
Chapter 4 is kind of where the noise tank
Page 32.
storyline begins. So it starts with that Chapter 4 cutscene, all the levels, then we get the noise tanks kidnapping everybody, or
And that backstabber Yo-Yo been trying
taking us
take
to the
down
stadium.
GP from the get-go? The noise tanks look
And then
pissed.
they get
They
mad
must
that we beat
have
them at their
fried
own
some
game,
suckers.
so
Now
they go
they're
riot in the streets, and
Is
we
there anyone out there who can
have to
stop
commit noise
those
tank genocide. It
rampaging
just be
machines?
like that, unfortunately. And we have to knock out 200 of them to go ahead and progress forward. So,
This is where a lot of the murder starts in this game.
yeah.
There's the bell, and it looks like
Wait,
they are
the
technically
already good to
sentient?
go and conquer
Sapient?
the ring. Tell you what
Are
you
they?
do, just run into them and take them
They
out.
Emotion
have-
is not a... Mercy is not an emotion they're programmed for, but we don't know which emotions they have been programmed for. So,
Can they love? Who knows? Can they dream?
do they dream
Can those tanks dream?
of electric sheep? Questions that need to be on JSR theories in the future. We have to go ahead and clean out again 200 of them. For whatever programming quirk reason, the switches that we sprayed in the sewers like 40 minutes ago are located nearby in memory to these noise tanks. So each one of these just destroyed or not destroyed in memory. And for some absolutely unknown reason, the switches count as noise tanks if they're sprayed, because they're close enough, and the detection for this whole section includes those memory addresses, which just kind of blows my mind, to be real honest. I don't do enough low-level programming to know like exactly how difficult it is to read a section of memory, but I can imagine like you just set your bounds properly and you don't have this issue. So whatever, we're going to use it to our advantage. We only have to kill 190 noise tanks and get to spare 10 extra. Congratulations.
My favorite part about that is that because in 80% people skip sewers for so long, people just thought it was just 190, like intended.
Yep.
And they're like, why is it 190? That's weird.
Yeah, it took some investigation to figure out why they're. Once we had people running both 100% and any percent at the same time. They're like, why is my noise tank route different? Like, why am I completing this sooner? And so we had to do some investigation into that, and that's what came of it. Kind of wild. Switches I did. There's nothing but a noise tank in disguise.
They could have the same hardware.
Yep. Oh right, we skipped those in this those upper platform ones. I thought you were gonna do the bus jump. That's an any percent strat though. There's a feedy soul that we pick up, which is right along our path. That is, I believe, the grind 10 soul. So we this took a lot of work rerouting any percent into this category, and originally it was 100%, to be able to pick up all, like, evaluate every single soul and figure out when is the best time to pick it up. Is it the first lap through levels, maybe during noise tank, or the second lap through? And it was a lot of fun design to do that. There's the air soul. from Rokakudai Heights picked up in that hidden little trash pig cubby area.
And that like really detailed routing is what makes this this category so fun. Like 100% used to be pretty bad for a long time because it was just a level gauntlet, but now it feels like it has a flow and there's an actual route behind it as opposed to just improvising.
Yeah, there was a big reroute done in fall of 2018 that really kind of rebrought the long game categories back. 100%'s world record was lowered by a total net of 30 minutes, I believe. It was just under, or
It
just
was,
over
it was
30
5:35
minutes.
before.
It was 5:35, and then your record for that is sub 5 hours in game time, slightly over 5 hours real time. And the original 5:35 was before the in-game timer. So that really kind of brought that category back, and then people really kind of enjoyed playing 100%, but the extra tedium of the genuine 100% was off-putting. So that's where this category came from, is cutting out all the tedium of the no post-game and just making JSRF more JSRF of running around and spraying graffiti and grabbing souls and enjoying the movement. Place your bets for the Jazz Race, as we'll fly around the stadium and you get to see what it's like when we actually are allowed to boost. Should be under a minute. So, yeah, those long sections where we had to wall ride down because that's the fastest form of movement. Now we can boost shuffle. Boost shuffling, as we said earlier, is great. So we get to really tear through this level, and it's like it's almost satisfying to do this race just because of how fast you can fly through this level compared to what it is in Deathball. So.
And talking about jazz, we've got Smeebit donating $5 saying jazz.
Ooh, Jazz catching up. She's at 15, and seem to have more donations towards some of the other characters, and we'll read those out in just a minute. I didn't get the final time.
It's like 54 something.
54 something. Speed runner. That probably means Duck wins, as he put the lowest time in chat, which means he is a 2 for 2 winner for guessing time so far.
Who can go 4 for 4?
Can you sweep the category, though? We'll find out once we do some of the level revisits. So, we're going to go ahead and find our way over to Sky Dinosaurian Square, which thematically is one of the coolest levels of the game, I think I have to say. Gameplay, it's a little bit harder, a little bit more questionable, but thematically it's super cool. By the way, we can just casually jump through those walls because why not? They just didn't put hit detection on the sides of the walls because...
Yeah, anytime you see that kind of wall, it doesn't have hit detection. So it's true for 99th Street, Skyscraper, anywhere else you see it.
Yep, it's only viable there, but there are theoretical quick lights, which is a trick we did at the start of 99th Street, that use that wall clip. But it's really hard to line up because that wall is more curved. So you've entered Sky Dinosaurian Square, which is the roller coaster theme park of JSRF. We're going to spray that graffiti stop because we're going to need it later, and we will not have time later to spray it. So, yep. Yo-Yo shows up. He has been a traitor all along, but Hero of the Streets Cube lets that wonderful 2002 wipe reveal show that he was actually a noise tank in disguise. Can't believe we fell for that. She's going to be nowhere to be found for the next 100 years because she just launched herself into the void, and we're going to start this noise tank fight. This fight has the largest capability of going wrong. There is a consistent setup at easy every time that can be done, but if things go wrong, they go really wrong. So we spray the first one down just like Poison Jam fight very, very quickly. Doing a fantastic amount of speed control, we're able to spray down that second guy. That's where lots of things can go wrong. If you hit the noise tank, he will fall, he'll death warp, he'll go all over the map, and everything becomes a complete disaster. But instead, this was done extremely cleanly, and we'll knock him out in minimum time with 14 cans remaining. So
14
nice
job
job
for the
there.
next section. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Let's hear some of those donations while we get through the chapter cutscene.
All right. So we have from Devolution Derby a very generous donation of $20 saying JSRF hype. Let's get Combo some love. So that puts actually Combo at $40 and in the lead as the lead character. Thank you so much, Devolution Derby, for the very generous donation. And it all goes to a great cause, Save the Children. They work in 120 different countries around the world, making sure that children are protected from violence and harm, making sure that children have equal opportunity to learn, access to school, and health care. So thank you so much, everybody.
Those noise tanks were cyborgs created by Rokaku.
Thank you very much. Yep, those donations will be open for roughly 1 more hour. So if you want combo percent, what up, kid? Keep donating for him, because as we found in the Bingo-thon Marathon last week, people will try and snipe that, and it will come down to the last couple minutes. So very much appreciated for that. Jazz, Soda, and Yo-Yo not too far behind all the other characters at 0 currently. So get your votes in. This cutscene is just explaining all of Chapter 8, Chapter 7 rather, where this is kind of the Golden Rhinos arc. So the first arc is like Poison Jam, that's chapters 1 to 3. 4 to 6 are the Noise Tank arc, but they exploded and really aren't much of a big deal anymore. Chapter 7 through the end of the game, which is 8 or 9, is basically the Golden Rhino arc. So they've got all sorts of more powerful cops, they've got more competent people, Hayashi's been fired, RIP Hayashi, he did nothing wrong, and yep, we'll get into it. This right here is very, very difficult, so we're gonna actually let Suprix do his thing for a good couple minutes here. This is the clutch escape, like he goes and runs around the map, and Krabby and Suprix found not long ago that if you do, not a great start.
Bad start.
That's
really don't want to see that.
That's
Sometimes that jump can just go wrong.
Yeah, it's just one of those things.
But if the levels go well, I should have enough time.
Yep. So we have like 30 seconds to a minute worth of kind of play time, where if you do all the levels optimally, you have that much time left over. Clutch runs off to 3 different levels: Kibogaoka Hill, then Skyscraper District, then Churro Street, and back to Kibo. You want to meet him the second time on Kibo. So he's in Kibogaoka Hill now, and we want to complete that little section of Shibuya, which helps us get cans and all this good stuff, and picks up a soul. We want to finish this whole section of this whole part of Dogenzaka Hill and Rokakudai Heights before Clutch makes it back to Kibogaoka Hill again. So there's not a lot of room for error as far as this is concerned. So we will see some of the most impressive movement, graffiti, and routing throughout these revisit stages now that we're starting to revisit them. Golden Rhinos come through, spray everything all over again with cool looking caution tape graffiti to be real honest. And Clutch is now run off to the Skyscraper District. Yeah, that's Is that Skyscraper? I can't. I'm
yeah.
Audio. Yeah. So we are pretty much on pace. We want to be spraying that large graffiti when he leaves, so just a little bit behind, but not cripplingly behind by any means.
That graffiti controls and can you skate into the wall. Always nice.
Always good when the graffiti camera does that. Yep, so yeah, we just have to get through these levels very, very quickly and cleanly. This is a quite tough route to do. I've actually practiced it on my own, and I haven't gotten it right, and I'm not terrible at this game, so it's impressive watching good runners just go through and clean out levels. Nice boost shuffle there.
I kind of canceled it inadvertently. It was going too fast.
Yeah, fair enough. This is a cool little route where we're gonna go ahead and spray half that large, come back to it, let's get that hop spray. Nice job. Got the falling spray. That one has a weird hitbox when falling. We're hitting these from behind, which is not what we're supposed to do, but that is well done. And then we jump back up here to hit the last sprays in Dogenzaka Hill. Nice job. 42 out of 42 with all 8 souls means we are done with Dogenzaka Hill. The only thing left to do is not to do, is skip this fight that is somewhere on the street to the left. But we don't do that because it's not part of the category, because it's not a part of the collectibles or anything traced in the game, so we don't do it. So, next is the Rokakadai Heights revisit, and we'll be watching for the clutch cues again. Yeah, technically wrong. Don't worry about it. We don't do the Roboy challenges or the rival gang challenges, but don't worry about it. It's fine.
It's not true 100%.
Yeah, true 100% is an additional 20 minutes of very valuable gameplay.
You know it's a good category when no one's run it.
Hey, there's been one runner of it. I'm sure he wants to be recognized, so so yeah, this little section here actually is a tricky little maneuver to go ahead and finish to get all those tags knocked out, because any fall would basically render this clutch section pretty much moot. Now we're gonna go say hi to Rith and unlock her and wait for these cutscenes, which take a surprising amount of time. But get your hi there's prepared, as we will talk to her a total of, or she'll say hi there a total of 4 times. While we're on the way to Rith, though, we are going to spray that graffiti because it's just right along the way. Nice drop. Right on cue. And she's going to run away one more time. And then she'll join us up if we are somehow able to track her down.
So I should still be okay on clutch. My dialogues were acceptable.
Yep. Oh, we found Rith. Thank goodness. She really hid there. But that was fun, and so she agrees and she joins us, so cool. Now we have Rith with us. That's one of the extra characters we need to pick up. Go ahead and climb this chimney here, which is the special challenge here, because vertical grinding makes tons and tons of physical sense, and don't worry about it. It's fine. So that spawns at the very top of the map, as will everything else, so no big deal there. This cop fight is unavoidable. I find it interesting that the hitbox for the fight is different than the hitbox for the original fight, even though it's the exact same 3 cops, just upgraded. So
That's the only Golden Rhino fight where that happens, I think. So all the others are the same.
Yeah, that's just confusing. But, you know, whatever. The reason we do this whole convoluted route of racing clutch and all this kind of stuff is because there is probably the hardest fight in the game in Dogenzaka Hill that we want to skip. It only spawns in Chapter 8, and we're currently in Chapter 7. So if we clear Dogen and don't have to go back there again, we don't have to deal with the really difficult cop fight that takes a bunch of time.
And then, unlike most things in the speedrun, it's actually like run threatening because it's very easy to die because there's just bullets everywhere.
Yeah, the cops are pretty good at hitting you if you're running anywhere near them, and you have to tackle them. Hit them with a boost several times. And they don't clump up like the other cops do, so it's really a difficult fight. Didn't get the there. Actually, I had to listen on the audio, see if we got the good job, but we did not. It was one of the opportunities in the run. DJ Professor K says, good job whenever you spray an XL graffiti just right, and I'm making like that Emperor's New Groove kind of looking meme image. We're gonna have to dodge the cop fight again, just like we did in the first part, and thankfully the hitbox is the same, so we can just kind of skip it the same way. There's a can in this wall. It's very precise hit, but you can pick those cans up, which are actually valuable here because we need all the cans we can get. And we are nearing the end of this route, which is excellent because we haven't seen Clutch run off to Kibo again. Clutch is in Kibo for the shortest amount of time, only 1.5 minutes. So, that can be quite difficult to do. Nice job unlocking the 35 tricks challenge as well. Grabbing the soul, doing the quick turn, following the rail. Very nice looking. Bring the second last tag.
There we go. Perfect dialogue.
And right after that soul is exactly when we want it. So that's a really good RDH because you
to make up that time.
Yeah, because that's usually I was expecting it like when you're headed up the spiral. Smack. Rip can. So now we have plenty of time to hurry our way over to Kibo and talk to Clutch. So, well done there, well done there. That is pretty dang difficult to do. That is the only like multi-level timer that exists in any category of JSRF, and I think it's so cool that you have to do multiple levels quickly to make that work. Here we're going to go ahead.
If you can get it consistent, it's one of the highlights of the run for sure.
Strong agree, so big claps for that. Right there, because the graffiti stop isn't despawned during that cop fight, we can just reload the level, and since we're not in the cop fight trigger, the cop fight disappears. Nice. Way to go. Flawless. So, that cop fight's no longer an issue for us, and we're going to go ahead and do the Kibo 2 route, which is personally one of my favorite routes in this entire run. For some reason, this route is just, it's memorable, it sticks, it's a lot of fun, you have a great soundtrack, I'm pretty sure. Oh, it is, what do we have? I think we have Concept of Love playing, but that means we do get the optimal soundtrack coming up.
Yeah, but we also have Shape the Future and Rock Rush.
Yeah.
Which is SSS tier.
So good. JSRF speedrunners and viewers have watched this game dozens to hundreds to thousands of times. Oh boy. So, I mean, there's only so much content that one game can provide, even with how much we can squeeze out of this, and so we've made personal preference lists of songs and music and playlists and highlights and characters and all this kind of stuff. It's a lot of fun to talk about different tastes in music because it is probably the most memorable part of this game. Again, if people say, out of things people remember, it is the music as the number one. Every single time. I love the music of this game. I remember this game from the music, stuff like that. Nice frame perfect boost continuation. So, yep, Kibo Gakka Hill is probably one of the most confusing levels to 100% the first time through because everything looks exactly the same and there's decoy paths and like it's just completely confusing and the map is completely useless. So it's really fun to be able to have a route to just wash through the map.
Nice, wrong chapter.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Okay, we caught that before any damage.
Yep. Yep, I can. I'll let you know if you go wrong somewhere, but everything else is A-okay. So, yeah, when you unlock the graffiti souls the first time through, it, like, whenever you unlock a graffiti soul, it zooms out of the location that it spawns in. The problem is all the spawn locations for this look exactly the same, and it gives you no context to the area around it. So, like, it's really difficult to go and pick them up the first time through. So, you know, that's just how it is sometimes, and as experienced players of this game, it is very enjoyable to see these levels just cleaned out so efficiently. Next is the Unlock Boogie section. Boogie fans, make sure to get your donations in if you want her to be used in the final part of this game. And we're going to see if we get the super fast unlock. Do a jump right at that corner. You can, if jumped at just at the right time, you'll be able to get up to the upper rail a little bit faster. It's a similar trick to the Quikage trick we saw earlier, but a little bit more forgiving. Nonetheless, only saves about 2 seconds, as that was a fairly speedy backup. This section here is extremely vertical, and there's no way to get back up to the very, very top. So this was an interesting routing challenge and execution challenge to clean these tags out from top to bottom. Whereas Kibo normally is like a very linear level, this is a very top to bottom kind of sectioned level. So let's see, we've got a nice little kind of precise hop that comes up here. And land on that wire. If you don't turn enough in air, you will not grind on that properly, and there's no backup to that. That is once you commit to that trick, you are committed. So that is one of the kind of secret techniques as we call them when we created this category. We'll be seeing a couple more throughout this run.
It's one of those many things, or one of many things that make combo percent for this category not really an option, especially for a marathon.
Yep, and that jump right there, even down to the wire below, requires a high amount of cornering to take out. Suprix will, ooh, that was a nice little spray plus death warp combination to go ahead and get back to this a little bit farther back in the level, where we have the last graffiti soul of the level, and 2 of the last 3 tags. So that is basically everything on the map. The only tag left is the one over top the very entrance. So everything going rather smoothly right now. As I knock on a little bit of wood so I don't cast or curse this. Thank you. No problem.
The thing about the revisits is that even though the movement is technically more, it's more difficult, I guess you could say, the revisits usually go a lot better than the first visits just because they're more fun to practice. So you practice them more.
Yeah, again, as I mentioned, the Kibo 2 route, one of just a community, well-remembered route. The big inspiration for rerouting the 100% category and creating this one was doing all of these really cool second revisit levels. They're so cool to do, and they're so fun to route. And you get to do more tricks and movement techniques and all this stuff, and I think that's the real draw of the category, is being able to do these kind of cool things. So, we've now moved into the fortified residential zone, which is where they, try and kill you by setting time bombs, because why not set bombs when you can set time bombs and let the suspense build? So I think someone mispunched a digit here because they added an extra 0. They give you 30 minutes instead of like 3 minutes to take care of these. Can't believe it. We're gonna clean through this in about 1 minute out of our 30 available, so it's cutting it really, really close. There are 4 on the bottom area here, on like the ground floor, and then there are 4 up these staircase kind of configurations, or these ladder grind rail configurations. We've sprayed all of them on the ground right now, so we're gonna do some nice jump. That was a little word with the camera.
Oh no, it happened yesterday too. I clipped the stairs, which cancels your boost.
Yeah, stairs kill all momentum in this game. And for marathon safety, we're gonna grab health.
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to fall there, but you know.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead, finish the last bomb up here. With
Boy, I almost ran out
very-
of time with that fall.
I know, we lost like 12 seconds there. We only had 28 and 3/4 minutes left. It's really close. Don't scare me like that. And then the bad guys decide, wow, that plan worked so well the first time. Let's do it again. Big brain strategy right there. So we're gonna go ahead and nice jump from around the kind of house there, this dystopian house formation, and onto another ledge on top of a roof to allow you to hop up, and we call that world record jump / the improved version universe record jump, because what's bigger than the world? Only the universe, of course. Could have gone with like galaxy record, but you know, whatever. So that's a nice jump, saves like 5 to 10 seconds if I remember correctly, so nice trick there. And we're just gonna go through, clean up these bombs en route. This is one of the scarier looking tricks as far as jumps are concerned. We're gonna wait for a visual cue and then jump while boosting on a spiral staircase over to that bomb. It looks really scary, but it's actually not as bad as it looks. Let's see if we get this. Ooh. Your setup for that is so much different than what everybody else uses. That's
There you go. You stopped the time.
it's like, oh, that's a scary setup there, but it works out.
It is scary. Yeah, I was debating doing it. That was also a scary fall, and it's my jump.
Woo. You're like 2 to 3 seconds ahead of me, and so I'm just like, wow, that was close.
No. Okay.
Oh, really? That's not
Yeah, it's never happened to me before. Surely if I do it again, it won't happen again, right?
right.
I
FRZ
missed my
has a
tricks. Okay, never mind.
yeah, you need max speed for that. FRZ has a bunch of really precise jumps and tricks you can use to skip small sections, which is very important for things like any percent, where the run is super optimized. So we do them sometimes. In this category, it's less so because it is less practiced and less optimized, but still always good to bring in any time saves that you can. So now they decide the next logical extension after 2 sets of time bombs have
Headshot.
failed is, ooh, boom headshot, is,
Ooh, headshot.
oh god,
Let's not die.
Monk S.
Okay, I'm fine.
Alright there, I figured you had time to get out. I was like,
That was super unlucky.
that is,
Can't remember the last time I had that luck that bad.
yeah, so the logical extension after 2 time bombs is to bring in 2 Harrier jets, because I'm sure that's just completely reasonable. And they shoot missiles just with complete RNG. It is basically the only RNG in this run, true RNG in this run, and Suprix just slammed into a missile because never lucky.
99.9% of the time, it doesn't shoot the missile that quickly. You can at least like start spraying.
That's very rare. Do we have any donations right now? As this would be a great time for one.
Now I'm the star at the top of their black
Yes,
list,
sorry, I was
'cause
drinking.
gave you the lowdown on
I didn't give you much time. I apologize.
I've been on top
Sorry.
since the
So
burger
yes, we
contest
do
in
have
elementary
one,
school.
and it is a $20
This time
donation
I've got
from
nothing to
Anonymous
say
saying,
except
okay,
it's time to get my
yo, yo,
running
yo, yo,
shoes on.
yo, y'all ain't getting your combo
And
boy,
now,
but
I hear
lovely
some
yo
freak that
yo
looks a lot
instead.
like Beat is showing
And
his
I guess
face
you guys
all
can
over
guess what
Tokyo.
that
Even
means.
for
It
someone
means
who
that
likes to
Yo-Yo
play
is
a
currently in the
dress up.
lead at
Bet a bit
$45, I
running
believe,
around, spraying some
and
crazy
combo
graffiti.
is at 40. So if you
Does
want
he
to
have
see
any connection
combo,
to the Golden Rhino?
yeah, I don't know how much longer do they have.
If the Golden Rhinos are allowed to rock the streets
We
like
have
this,
about
Tokyo's
30
done for.
something minutes
Somebody
or so.
stop 'em.
Roughly 30. We'll kind of.
So yeah, there you go. 30 minutes until you can push up combo to the #1 spot. We've also got Soda and Jazz having been donated towards as characters. But right now, Yo-Yo is in the lead.
There ain't no
So.
superheroes to save the day in the
Yo-Yo
world.
game.
The streets, baby.
Unexpected.
Yeah,
all
Yo-Yo
up to
Games
you to
rising
take
up.
control
Where
of
are the
yourself.
Jazz fans today? Can't believe it. Spent everything at Bingo-thon. Still a good cause.
I think Aeolus is at work, or else Jazz
I
would be
think
winning.
she is as well.
Golden Rhinos are laying waste to the
Jazz
streets
would be
showing no
much
mercy.
more represented.
Gotta stop 'em.
Shibuya is one of, as I mentioned, one of the coolest routes to level in my opinion. And this is personally my favorite reason why. Because of the level design and how you have to go through it multiple times to get anywhere, we can actually complete the second part of the revisit of Shibuya in 3 parts. This is the only level we do in such a segmented way. And I personally just love that so much. We only hit the things along the way to the level that we're going to next. So through that section, we went ahead and did Chuo Street, or did all the graffiti on the buses on the way to Chuo Street. And then later, right after this level, we'll go ahead and pick everything else up for before we go to Hikage's revisit. So personally, that's one of my favorite parts of this run. Slight bias because I came up with that idea. But, you know, full disclosure, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know if we've already mentioned it, but big shoutouts to 7th Ace and Krabby for creating this route and making it so fun. Or else would not be here today.
Yep, for sure. Krabby especially, the graffiti routing mastermind. He has almost every individual level record for graffiti routes. For every single level in the game, he has had world record for a significant amount of time. So he's the one who did a lot of these graffiti routes, and they're extremely well optimized. They haven't really been touched in a year and a half, apart from some minor improvements to new tech that we found and stuff like that. So really just pretty dang cool. I've really enjoyed watching this route become a thing, especially as Suprix has picked it up more in preparation of this marathon. So, story-wise, Zero Beat shown up. That's why our graffiti is now the Zero Beat graffiti that we're covering up, as opposed to the Golden Rhino. It is functionally identical, but it does look cool. I actually really like the
Yeah,
dark
for sure.
techno future look of Zero Beat graffiti. So. And we get to hear a wonderful amount of soundtrack continuously throughout the next couple of levels, as there's no story or cutscenes or anything to interrupt it. This is a part of the run where, as a runner, you kind of just settle into a groove and just start plowing through levels real quickly. And again, genuinely just enjoyable to run around the map, spray the graffiti, and play these routes in a really clean way. Alright, this fight here is the first of the Golden Rhino boss fights. There's a good handful of them back to back to back to back to back. And any percent you just kind of blast through all of them all at once. We obviously have a lot more to do here. So, we're here. Because we're using Gum, because we find her cornering and benefits not having to change characters to be very useful. We are not able to do the Zero Cycle Claws throughout, which is one of the only downsides of using gum. That is only available on Clutch or Jazz, and neither of them are particularly good for spraying levels. So we take the small time loss by spraying Clog-Eye in one cycle, by being able to, route all the levels a little bit better. So that's pretty nice. And then Clog-Eye, makes a dramatic exit, I suppose you could say. Shot by a Harrier, launched by slow-moving missiles into the sky, and then exploded in midair. It totally makes sense.
He also got the bad jet RNG.
That's bad RNG. There are 1 in 1,000 chance, of course, for him to live that. So, Zero B goes and runs away. We're gonna keep spraying his graffiti. I don't know why he doesn't stop us, but I'm not gonna argue with his methods. As we finish up Chuo here, don't forget any of those souls at the end. This soul on top of the dino is often forgotten because you have to slightly backtrack for it. A lot of these routes really flow in terms of the level design and where this graffiti is placed, but that one is just kinda in a weird spot. Here, hardest trick in the game, you let go of every button on the controller and you fall perfectly into position. Secret of the Tiger, as we call it. Last graffiti soul picked up in Chuo Street, and we are off on our way to Shibuya for the most finicky challenge in the game that we referenced earlier. So, this is honestly one of the harder parts of the game. No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. I just approached that bus from the wrong side.
Yeah, I didn't get the quick turn, but otherwise you're fine. Unless you missed some cans or something. But everything looks fine. Ooh.
Yeah.
So the 13 platforms challenge is definitely one of the harder ones in the game. To conceptualize from the start, because again, it's quite vague as to what it means. And then to execute, because it is quite precise as to what you have to do. You have to step on all 13 of those bus platforms without touching the ground. And by the ground, I literally mean the ground. The stairs, the walkways, the anything else don't count. This challenge only resets when your Y value is on the ground. So that's an important thing that we learn from this. The ramp is the biggest culprit of non-detection. Sometimes it just doesn't say we stepped on that ramp, even though we very clearly have. And the cans are also tough on this, so we're going to go ahead and knock over these Golden Rhino guys for extra cans, because extra cans are great. XL, good job opportunity. Got it. Got the good job and the Always optimal to do that. Really isn't, but it's always fun to hear it. We're gonna jump on these platforms here twice, just to make sure they detect. And we got it. Good. No problemo here. And that is the 13 platforms sold. The last one we needed, the challenge completed, and the graffiti completed all at the last second. That is super cool. I love that.
That's what we call good routing.
Yeah. We used to do that soul the first time through. And that literally lost 2 minutes just because you did the thing on its own. The 13 platforms challenge on its own while doing nothing else. So that was one of the bigger time saves we found in the run as we're kind of evaluating everything. So that's hard to do too. Give it a shot. Hey, we got it. We did the jump. Nice job.
So Hikage 2, much like Hikage 1, is absolute crap for cans.
Yep. By far the hardest level for canagement in the entire game. We come here to the center section. is it has a relatively small amount of tags, so we can fill up on cans, because we only entered with about 2. So we're able to go in and start spraying up ones we need to. We grab that soul there, so we can, and then we just need it. And we're going to move over to the left side of the map here. And we're going to do a trick that isn't really named, I guess. It's just partial spraying of these tags because we're going to get them on the way back. But we're only going to spray them like alternating like that, so that way we can take it at full speed on the way back. Because if the tags are too close together normally to hit at full speed, but if you space them out like that, you can take that at full speed. So it saves a small, but I mean, it is a time save, and it doesn't really cost you anything. That billboard is the only good source of cans in this entire side. There are 40 cans on that billboard, so we'll make sure to use as many of those as possible. But the angle to hit those at is oddly precise, so, you know, just more Hikage things, I suppose. So now we're going to go ahead, shuffle, and hop at higher than skating speed, and because, again, we kind of pre-did part of these graffitis, interlaced it, we can take those out faster than we normally would. Here, we're going to do kind of the same thing here as we're short on cans to start, and we'll pick some more up at the end to come back and do. There are alleys that have these little bowling pin shaped sets of cans, and those are basically your only good source of cans on this right side of the level. So again, this route lands up being like near can perfect. Despite everything we've picked up, it is nearly can perfect. So it's really, really difficult to do properly sometimes. Let him go. Oh my goodness. Contending Hikage. Hikage is pretty famous for not letting you do what you want to do. And can perfect. 0 to 0. Or 0 cams left, 50 out of 50 sprays with 8 souls picked up. So, a good Hikage, I would say. Good Hikage. So, next part of the level. Next part, we've cleaned out all these light levels, as we kind of call them. They're the Shibuya Cho levels, the light levels, the whatever you want to call them. But this little cluster of levels, that's Shibuya, Dogen, Chuo, and Hikage. Those are all done now. We've 100%ed those. We're going to go over to the sewers section next. So that's where Kakadai Heights, sewers, bottom point, FRZ, and Kibo, and finish all those. We've already done RDH and Kibo, so we just have sewers, bottom point, and FRZ to complete. And we're going to go ahead and start with bottom point.
That was my last Soul Bro opportunity. I'm so sorry.
Shout out to Zol and Jabro. For a second shout out for this run. But he deserves.
Hope you guys like the reverb. So I'm hearing a lot of it.
Yep, there's it adds to the ambiance of the levels, being kind of trapped in the sewer, but it does sometimes cause a bit of issues as far as just listening. So we have a couple of souls to unlock as we head down towards the bottom of bottom point. So that was the air soul picked up, or unlocked, and the grind soul picked up. That was air 4 and grind 10. Importantly, you can't land on a rail to complete any of your air combo. You have to land on the ground. This detection is only existing on the ground. So
I think you mentioned that yesterday practicing, I could have sworn I landed one on a rail. I have to go back and look for that. I was super surprised.
Yeah, it's very likely. I mean, it could have been as close as a one frame thing where you landed on the ground for a frame, and then yeah, that's pretty wild. So bottom point not a favorite level overall, but I like this graffiti route a lot. I actually really enjoy it. It's really interesting, especially when we get to the room section. This part is pretty straightforward, although we did get to see some really nice jumps into Del Transfers to be able to spray those tags sooner and then be able to kind of move along our way. Cube race is coming up. We're going to unlock Cube here, so go ahead, place your bets. Third race of the run should be around 1:30. If you want kind of a guess to ballpark around. So we're just going to fly through this level, pick up some cans. We're going to finish, I believe we finished this race with some extra cans. There's a little bit we have to do.
This is probably my least favorite race, so it's my least optimized.
Yeah, the aisle for this is pretty dang cool. If you can hit the frame boost off that fall, just right from that third room, but obviously when you don't get it, you're just like, oh, I guess we're taking the slow route now. So, you know. It's definitely it's a weird race because you have so many different kind of opportunities to get cans and take different routes throughout the levels. I don't see really two people take the same route overall.
If you listen closely, you can hear Cube screaming in reverb in the background.
I don't have the audio. Did you get the kicking button taking names line?
No, I didn't.
It's unfortunate. Nice frame boost. Holy crap, that'll help the low guessers. People who guessed under 130 looking good right now. 129.43 looks. So I've got Pikachu as a winner. Congratulations. Ending Ducks vie for a perfect 100% NPG guess record. Sorry, Duck, you would have been right on if the frame boost didn't exist. So, in each of these rooms, there's graffiti plastered either on the walls or next to the rails or something else in between. They're not, or on the floors. Nice, cool. That fall is a little scary sometimes, as if you miss that tag, you just have to like shamefully walk back up and try it again on the orange rail. Here we can try and get 2 for 1, jumping from the orange rail, and we do nice job. And then we have this extra large spray, which costs us essentially no cans because there's an overabundance of cans in that section. And we don't forget the soul behind us. Nice.
Okay, didn't flip. Let's just go all the way back. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Take a little bit more detour. Again, because of the camera stuff, your controls can just not do what you want them to do sometimes, so I'm very likely assuming that something's pulled back on the controller and it just didn't do anything because camera. Normally you want to do a backflip to turn around on that rail, but no big deal. Go ahead, pick up that soul, finish this extra large on the way down again. Spraying half of it on the way up, more than half on the way up, and the last bit on the way down. Rip that large.
I hate falling down here.
Oh, that's not one of the... Let's fall.
Right.
Nice recovery, though. And all we have left to do is grab these 2 souls here that you can see. Which can be done pretty quickly with a cool little hop. Did we get it? Did we get it? We got it. Nice job.
It's one of my favorite little pieces of movement.
Yeah, that's a nice little tech. Which is not all that easy to do, to be fair. That's bottom point taken care of. Now we're going to do the sewers, which is one of the longer levels overall because you have to climb all the way up to the top. Cans are not very abundant, so we have to be pretty careful in how we use our skips and our boosts. If you fail a trick, you don't really get to do it again because the management's pretty tight for this level.
hand-plant jump here.
Nice hand plant jump up to the center structure again, and then a boost over to the top. Nice job into ground room. That's a nice skip. Because there are no graffiti down one of those hallways, we don't need to do anything there. It's the boost, it's the second jump. Grab that spray, then shuffle while the camera's barely looking at you to maintain enough speed for a trick jump, so that way we can hit that soul and fall into the water. So we death warp to the front of the room, so we don't have to walk our way out. That was done. Very nice. Oh, almost got there.
Yeah.
That tag is nearly impossible to hit first try. The hitbox on it is terrible. It doesn't make sense. It's offset downward, so you can hit it from the ground. That means as we're jumping across it, it's kind of difficult to do, and we just kind of accept it.
All right.
This is 100-meter room. If you like wall rides, that's, you know.
The mandatory yo dog. I heard you like wall rides.
Yeah, so it was a cool little challenge. Like the first time I ever saw it, I was like, you can, like the discovery of, oop, got this. Oh no.
A double kiss.
Feels bad. Yeah, the discovery that you could actually gain height by repetitively wall riding was kind of cool. And then we looked up and we were like, oh my god, you've got to be kidding me. And then we got to the top and there's nothing there. I was like, are you serious? There are 25 cans. That's it? I have been lied to. Thankfully, there is stuff up at the top for us. As there is a graffiti soul I just hadn't unlocked as a kid, R.I.P. Kid me. And I didn't have this graffiti done yet. So I couldn't spray all the graffiti up there either. There are 3 graffitis that you have to spray, one at the 40-meter mark, one at the 70-meter mark right there, and one at the very, very top. We take a specific path up to the top here, so that way we can hit those tags along the way pretty safely, and not have to worry about the multitude of camera issues, obstacles, and other things that can possibly screw it up. You got a graffiti zone. And we do it at this point in the run because it allows us to completely fill up on Kansas. There are 25 up there at the top, which is actually kind of nice.
Everyone's favorite part.
Yep.
Anyway, here is the statue water room, which is also impossible.
Let's see if the impossible can be done. It's a precise jump to do this perfectly. Go ahead, all ride, dump, get the soul. And just short. That is
I needed to start my second wall ride a bit closer, but I was a bit far.
Yeah. Yeah, that room is very difficult to do perfectly, and we kind of just accept that you'll fall there. But you can, if you're very precise with your jumps, hit both those tags, grab the soul, and land. Forward just a little bit. So, yep, climbing back up the sewers again is not exactly the most enjoyable part of the run, but nonetheless, it is enjoyable to just kind of clean out these levels. As a speedrunner, when you run this, it's just, you know what has given you and other people trouble in the past, and being able to just rinse through it in a clean route is really some kind of, I don't know, like, there's an enjoyment in doing it right.
It's like catharsis. This would be the best word for it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's the catharsis of, this was difficult, and now it's not. Or rather, I have a way to defeat the difficulty. Let's put this route. This route is also within one can of being can perfect, so not wasting any cans is rather important. These sprays have really weird hitboxes. That is a nice way to hit both of them. And that is the sewers. All
That
souls.
is it for the reverb, thank God.
Suprix is very much not a fan of reverb.
For many years, I ran this game without sound, and then when I got sound back, I remembered.
And then immediately
Muted
ripped out
it.
speakers.
Yeah.
It's just like, thanks, I hate it. Alright, FRZ is the third level, I think the last level.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Where we haven't sprayed anything from the start. No, we have skydiving. Some of the tags from the first visit through levels are sprayed already. They don't like overwrite them. But for the levels you don't spray anything on the first time, just have to start from 0. And so that can make these routes. And there's 47 tags on this level. That's a lot of work to do. But we're gonna make quick work of them over the next 6 minutes or so. We will get to see a pretty interesting trick here. This is also one of the hardest levels to route, I believe. It's just so vertical and so you can get to a lot of places from a lot of other places. So.
Yeah, and unlike Hikage, you do have a fast way up, but it's the only way, and you go all the way up to the top. Because you can't really stop midway.
So we're going to drop out of this tube, drop over to this rail, which is the bonus rail, so we're going to grab points. Or not, we're going to move the trick. Tell. Yeah. Like I said, with first try, we're going to hit this rail, and then we're going to get points. The lag in this level can make it somewhat difficult at times. And we're going to do this cool trick where we're going to get 100 tricks.
What?
Yeah, that
Okay.
makes sense. Of course. Okay.
I don't know what happened there. Hold on. Let me do
Sure.
that.
Sure. So
I
if
must
you start
have fat
grinding,
fingered something? I don't even know.
yeah, must have. Or is frame perfect, like double A or something. If you get a negative speed, which you get by going up a rail and then falling down, when you multiply your speed, you get a bigger negative number, and it doesn't like that very much, and weird physics start to occur. Additionally, it will let you cling to the rail. Normally, it disables rail magnetism from the rail you're jumping from, but for all the above-mentioned reasons, it just doesn't disable the rail magnetism there. So you're able to jump off and then recling to the rail very, very quickly, allowing you to get 100 tricks in roughly 10 seconds. This is the mazes of FRZ. Very annoying. Nice precise lineup there, so we can spray that tag while falling. That only has like a couple pixels of a window. Like the window for hitting that spray is extremely small. So that's why we use a bit of a lineup technique to hit that. But
The old C-up technique. Speedrunning's finest.
So there are 3 sets of mazes here, and they can very much just cause a whole bunch of issues because there are those breakaway platforms that look identical to the standard platforms. So you can't really tell what you can stand on until you approach it. And it's just not really a pleasant experience. So, yeah, no. I'm gonna go ahead and grab our Air 8. You have to do 8 air tricks before landing to unlock that graffiti soul. We'll do it while falling to that graffiti soul right there. So, take care of that. If you unlock a graffiti soul and pick one up in the same frame by landing next to it, you get this cool, like, double graffiti soul effect, which is pretty wild. You can find some videos about that.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, some tags, some cameras. We've made our way to the very top of the level again, where we sprayed our second to last bomb. We're going to go ahead and start working our way from top to bottom now. We got a bunch of sprays going up. We're going to get some going down now as we pick up the remainder of the graffiti souls that exist on the level, and spraying the remainder of the tags here. So,
Do you have time for a donation?
yeah, I was just about to ask. I think this is a great time for an update on our incentive.
Right, so Twinkatchu has donated $5. Thank you so much, Twinkatchu, and happy birthday in advance. And the comment is, do it for her. And of course, the donation goes towards the selection of Jazz. The update is that another person, an anonymous person, donated $10 and said C, or well, combo. And that puts Combo as the lead with $50. Yo-Yo is on the second place with $45. And then we've got Jazz and Soda on third with $20. And we have one more donation from Mackenzie. It's a $5 donation, but no message. Thank you all for donating and supporting. And if you want to see someone else than Combo, if you want to see Yo-Yo, that's $6 to get her in the lead. Yo-Yo is a girl, right?
Yo-Yo's a guy. He's the OG character we played. All good. Alright, so we cleaned up all the tags in the upper section.
Yeah, so I fell. So I had to get back up and
Womp womp.
and do that, yeah.
Yep. That
That's
trick that we
all
said was scarier than it looks, and then, yeah, you can still mess it up, but it is scarier than it looks, I promise. So we're gonna do a clip right here. If you fall here, there's no hit detection there, so we just clip into the lower section here. That drops us on top of a graffiti soul and a tag, which is really nice, because obviously we need all of those. I'm going to take a large and quick turn off the edge, which is a cool little technique. And then we just have 3 more tags to clean up in FRZ. We didn't forget the soul in the house maze, so I'm pretty certain we're good to go on this level. Right, so anything else we have to do? Not a whole lot in FRZ. We've got this one tag on top. Is that a perfect ball? Rip.
Don't try new stuff during speedruns.
I think I can boost tier syndrome into.
That's why I don't boost here.
Yeah. Into, oh, I have too much speed. And, oh. Whoops. Alright. We are done with the sewers levels now. One more fun reverb section just for Suprix's wonderful ears. As we say goodbye to the section of the map for this entire run. And we are headed off to the Benton Show, or Dark levels, or whatever, or the 99th levels, or whatever you want to call them. We've got just those left, so it's 99th Street Revisit, Highway Zero Visit, Skyscraper, Sky Dino, and then the final boss fights. And the final boss fights is where we'll be choosing the final character, so we have 4 levels left before you can, for our incentive. Alright, 99th Street 2 starts off with a cop fight, and it is important to have a lot of cans for this, because 99th Street, or at the end of this, because 99th Street has the most tags of any level in the entire game. With
22 is not enough, so I have to go get some backups.
Yeah, I was just wondering, but there's a cubby with 45 cans just sitting here, so that's nice, I suppose, that whoever left those there. I was also having can troubles in 99. So yeah, there are, what's that, 26 out of 64 stars sprayed, which is not a bad number. That means you do only need 38 more, but that's still 38 tags, many of which are larges and extra larges. So a lot of cans need to be used in 99th Street. We have a couple times where we check our cans to make sure we have enough and all that good stuff. So yeah, we get to see the wonderful bright colors of 99th Street all over again. Also, and I can't believe it's been 2.5 hours since, considering it's been a thing for the entire run, but you do have the Jet Set Radio model done.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that.
By the way, shout out to Secret of the Turtle. That's a technique where you pick up that soul without slowing down. That's an easy one to mess up. It's also a nice soul. Nice double kiss the wall as well to get some extra speed.
Yeah.
That's a fun little tick to fly into the next area. There's a bunch of sprays around the outside of the perimeter of 99th Street here in the center area. These can be a real pain if you're not like actively trying to get them the first time through. So it's very nice to pick them up there coming from the light section, both in 99th 1 and 2 when we have to spray them again. Water section is always a fun one because the graffiti cam just goes every which way and does whatever it wants to. No big deal. Fun little area though, and will destroy your Xbox 360 or at least its frame rate. This is probably, I would say, the only really kind of it feels weird in the route tag, that large just behind us. Because you do have to just boost over to the dark side area there. There's no good way to hit that otherwise, so kind of a weird one there. But we do deal with that.
Yeah, it's one of those where they meant for you to just go up to the tower and then jump off to get a bunch of sprays, but
yep,
there's ways around that.
All of the tags, or nearly all the tags in this dark area are on this outside rail here, so that's kind of convenient for our routing purposes, as all we have to do is hit those and then go around the dark area once in a lap. Not a whole lot to that. And then jump up here, grab our last graffiti soul for the level, and then go through this maze thing of destructible boards and whatever to pick up the last tag and do a pretty neat boost jump to exit the level. So we're gonna boost, land on this wire, and if you get it just right, because it is sloped upwards, you get a little bit of extra height on your jump and allows you to just get back up to the highway to be able to escape the level, which is pretty good, because otherwise we'd have to go all the way back to the center, then back to the highway, boost over across the highway to get to that exact same spot. So it's a good trick. It is a good trick. So we spray the cops in Skyscraper District. Again, blink and you might miss it because it's a very forgettable cop fight. And then we go into Highway 0. Which is one of the fastest graffiti routes in the game. This can be cleaned up very quickly, but it also means because we have a tape, 8 souls to get, and a boss fight to do, there's a lot to do in a very short amount of time. So, definitely one of the more fun, more of the fast-paced kind of dark levels. Before any of that, though, we're going to race Soda. Place your bets in chat. Should be just under a minute as the final race of this run gets underway. So again, it's faster to boost along the ground and then take a nice long shuffle rather than take trick jumps across the power lines. So that's why we do that. Grinding is fast, but boosting is faster. You're not going to take the door clip that allows you to just clip through the map because we value cans in this run. It's very important for us to have lots and lots of cans because we there aren't really a lot around the level besides in that alley there.
Also, in this case, it breaks the race. So we couldn't do it if we wanted to. Unfortunate.
Oh, does it? Does it chun?
Yeah, it chuns.
Rip. Did not know that. So that means checkpoints are different than in the IL.
In the IL, yeah. Yeah, it works in the IL perfectly fine.
Yep, that's interesting. 56:09, I believe, is the final time of that. So I'll let you guys figure it out who wins. But that is a pretty close guess. It's split middle, right? Split down the middle. Yeah, we have been getting some comments throughout the run about the custom tags. You are able to create images or get images or do whatever and put them into the game instead of using the horrendous graffiti editor. This is Highway 0 double unlock. So, let it go.
Alright, totally worth it.
Nice job. Double unlock there. Saves, again, roughly 2 seconds to get that double unlock, as you don't have to sit through 2 graffiti soul cutscenes, and it looks awesome. I love, like, intermixed levels, or the mashed up objects and stuff like that. So I really like that double unlock. I'm gonna go ahead, hit the top of that billboard there, and clip out of the map because there's no wall there. That warps us back to the front. A lot of the souls we just unlocked in that kind of zigzaggy area are spawned here in the front of the level. So we have to come back and pick all of these up. So that's exactly what we do. And the death warp is the easiest way, or the fastest way, not the easiest way. It's actually a pretty precise clip. And that gets us back to essentially the start point of the map.
Ah, I went back in.
That
Oh well.
was the
Unfortunate.
door.
Still skipped a fair amount, but
Yep. It is kind of cool, I think, that literally you walk into the door to make that happen.
yeah.
It's just really funny. So yeah, we'll go ahead and finish up the rest of the tags here. So many tags in Highway 0 are smalls and super smalls.
Oh, it's 5, not 4. Oops, have to redo that.
It is 5. Yeah, they're 5.
Climb up the hill.
Ugh. So difficult.
Gum has really bad cardio. Alright.
Gravity's stronger in this universe. So that is the last of the Highway 0 souls to unlock. We go ahead and spray that extra large, finish the tags here, and then we have a boss fight to do. Let me put boss in quotes real quick. Boss fight to do. Down here in the section that we have technically avoided until the very, very end when we need it. So this is the Flames chick. I always canonically think of her as the sister to Claw's guy. Obviously not true, but as far as boss fights are concerned, it basically is. She doesn't take a boost to knock down though, so you just kind of run into her, and then you spray her, and then you run into her again, and you spray her, and then you can run into her again and spray her, and that's the end of that.
Try for a 2-cycle and never get it.
Yeah, you can 2-cycle it, but it's difficult, doesn't save much time, but you can do it if you have optimal movement for it. And then she meets a Grizzly as well. Vote in chat, would you rather be impaled and destroyed by 4 missiles or crushed by a billboard? Flaming. That's how they decided to end that arc. Go ahead and grab the soul there. Of course, that's important. Never forget that soul. And we depart Highway 0 with all of our tags and graffiti souls in tow.
Alright, Skyscraper 2, the longest level in the game.
Yep, this is
And
a
it's
near route.
what's the word? It's grueling, I guess you could say it.
Yeah, so looking in, we've already been playing this run for 2 hours and 40 minutes real time. And you then have to go on a fairly difficult level in Skyscraper, where if things go wrong, again, they could go quite wrong. There are like 28 tags or something you have to spray in Skyscraper 2. You have to go all over the level.
It's more like 30.
Yeah, it's 30.
Yeah, very large.
It is a long level. The tags are spaced really far apart. This can take like multiple hours to do casually. Like even if you're decently practiced, it'll still take a long time. This personally is one of my favorite routes because I've gotten so much use out of it over the years, over the year and a half that we've had it. As far as, you know, we have JSRF randomizer, we have JSRF bingo, we have 100%, any percent.
I grabbed that health for safety. Normally I would boost there and skip it, but I still have an extra boost, and there's literally no place to use it. I've tried like 5 different places.
It's just awkward cans.
Yeah.
So, as grueling and long as it is, again, 2 hours, 40 minutes into a run, it is one of my favorites. Just because of all the utility it's given me throughout just a year and a half of use. This route is probably the most valuable one I've learned.
Consistent fall there.
That's always good. Normally you'll trick jump, but trick jumping is 20% slower. So that's why we avoid trick jumping all the time, like the plague, because going 20% slower is 25% less fast. So, that's why you'll see Suprix slow down and hop from rails like we've done all throughout the run, instead of doing like just normal trick jumps everywhere, because it's actually faster to do this. So, I believe, if I remember correctly, now the route has changed slightly, very, very slightly for this category since we started, since I routed it, or Krabby routed it, and I counted. But I believe we do 13 death warps in Skyscraper 2.
Sounds about right.
Gum can only take 5 hits, and then the 6th one are killer. So we have to grab health multiple times throughout this level just to afford the amount of death warping that we're going to do. And any like routing mistake will cost another death warp to catch up to. And sometimes you just can't do that, so this level can be very punishing if you're not performing well.
Yeah, the following level as well.
Yes.
Very unforgiving.
By the way, some story happened at the start of this level where DJK gets kidnapped. Don't worry about it, he's fine. Alright. This is named Kevin for no reason other than we named it Kevin.
Yeah, if you needed proof that we've spent an ungodly amount of hours doing this game over and over again, that jump is named Kevin.
Yes. Why? Because I asked, what is that jump called? And my chat said, Kevin, and that was the name of it. From then on, it was Kevin. There's no rhyme or reason, it's just the first name someone came up with in chat. I think it was Duck. Just said, this jump is now Kevin, and that's what it's been stuck with. Oh, we need help. Please send help. So, coming up in just a minute is the observatory climb. One of the, I guess, like, it's the most visible part of the Skyscraper district for sure. And you can spend a lot of time trying to get up to the top if you don't know the route. So, you know, it's pretty tough. Also, from here to the end of the level, the management is extremely tight. As any kind of mistakes will essentially just send you down the wrong path. and not have enough cans to recover yourself from. Thankfully, we have a good observatory climb and a good route with just enough cans to make it work. So that's always nice. We do two, I would say, I don't want to say like unintuitive skips, but like things you don't do just by following the rail. You can follow these rails and you'll eventually make your way to the top. But if we make that little hop there, that will shortcut a significant amount, and then if we turn around on that red rail by making that jump, we will go ahead and basically skip our way all the way to the top of the observatory, and we unlock 65 tricks along the way. Because it's later in the route, by design, we are able to unlock that and not waste any time unlocking it when we don't have to, or when we're going to get 65 tricks later.
Rip gum. Goodbye.
Goodbye forever. She's going to take so much fall damage from this, there's going to be no way for her to survive. Oh. On the fall damage. Okay. Fall damage is static, not by height. For better. No, you know, I was going to say for better, for worse, it's just for better.
It's just for better. This is a really annoying section, because if you fall, there's no way to get back up.
Yep. The backup strat is do it again. And we really like to skip corners and stuff like that. So we have to actually hop fairly precisely there. You can really goof it. If you fall anywhere along after, or on that billboard chain or afterwards, you really kind of have to just run around and do it again. Alright guys, we're going to finish this skyscraper route up. There's a bit more management issues with this. Do we have any updates on the donation incentive? Because we're getting very, very close.
We do not have an update for now, so the winner right now is Combo.
Alright, just a couple more minutes to get this in. We have just these Pharaoh Park tags, and then we have Sky Dino, and once we get to the graffiti stop, it is done. So, on the way back. So, we are going to be done with this within the next 7 to 10 minutes. Probably close to 10 minutes at most. So, if you want to snipe it, get your snipes in right now.
You've dedicated your lives to these characters. You need to represent.
Represent your main character, or your main story character, main. So this part is just a tedium of large tags and cans you have to pick up to finish it. We do have one pyramid jump coming up, which is extremely difficult, probably frame too perfect. Can we get it?
No, I didn't slow down enough.
Nah,
Got the trick jump.
such a weird trick, but that is the 40th tag done in Skyscraper. So we are done with that. We have going to pick up this last graffiti soul. So we are done here. We're going to go head over to Sky Dino for our last level, as far as graffiti is concerned. That was probably the 13th or 14th death warp, because, of course. That route is so innate to me now, though. Like, any deviation from it, it just feels so weird. But everything was just fine. Zerobeat takes off to the right. We're gonna ignore him for just a little bit. Why, Suprix? Why? A double frame boost there?
Because I can.
It barely was faster than grinding.
But it's... Ignore the word barely.
Alright, this is Sky Dino 2. This is the hardest level in the game, or rather most unforgiving level in the game, and it comes when literal, like, game fatigue will be setting in. You've been grinding through routes for almost 3 hours real time now.
The main problem with this level is that there's no floor.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a summary.
Buildings and rails. And anywhere that's not a building or a rail is Death Warp Void Alley. Additionally, if we do this all in perfect time, which has been going okay so far, we will hit a cycle for the Sky Dino Special Challenge, which allows us to hit it in route very, very cleanly. Anything else means that things will get messed up. This is also the longest grind and trick sequence in the game. You have to get a grind 50 combo and a tricks 100 combo, while the spraying graffiti, because it's fast, so we do Secret of the Dragon there to spray all those properly, while the game is also lagging, so you have to slow down your trick rate, which is like perfect muscle memory for every runner. So it's very difficult to slow it down because you have to think about it. So that section right there is very, very difficult, and big excitement for getting that.
Yeah, that's a lot of practice to learn how your game lags.
Yeah.
What helped me was just looking at the animation, because the animation's consistent, but I don't think most people use that.
Yep.
There's air combo in one of the 3 places you can land in this level.
Yeah. Of course, 2 of the 3 places you can land on this level are places where you'll take double damage because there's nothing you can do to Death Warp. There is the perfect cycle for this challenge. So you just have to jump on a rail, jump on the swinging platform. They intend for you to swing to the other side and then jump on the rail and kind of teach you how to do that. But you can just jump on the same rail again, and that unlocks the special challenge. And that was done in perfect time. That was quite difficult to do. So again, well done there. Those sprays can mess you up along those volcano-looking things. I mean, this is like a dinosaur-looking level. It's really thematically cool. It's just difficult to play and laggy at times and extremely punishing, and so it gets a bad rap. But it is a very cool level design.
I missed when I had 3 minutes of time save on those 2 volcanoes. Because I didn't realize I was just going in a circle. Oops, I didn't finish that.
Oh. Yeah, that's
Sometimes the top one gets away from me.
Alright, you've got about 20 seconds left to get your donations in, so in just a minute we're going to close this up, and we will announce the winner of the donation incentive. I don't see any updates, so I think we're good to call it. Do you agree with me, Morel?
I agree with you. I think it's the combo one.
Alright, Combo has emerged victorious, so we'll be doing the last part of the game with Combo. Way to go.
As expected. Why do I keep missing these?
That one's, you have to like slow down a tiny bit to the medium because it takes priority over the XL and then you get out of range.
Now I'm gonna get blocked by this thing, so I'm gonna go carefully.
Again, we're taking this a little carefully because this can be a very, very punishing level.
Yeah.
If things go any amount wrong.
I had a PB last night that got to here, but I died because I wasn't careful.
F.
So
That's unfortunate. But overall, pretty good.
very happy with that.
I know.
So the winner is Combo. How exciting. Can't wait to play as him.
Yes, the whole incentive actually raised $135 for Save
Wow.
Children. So
Thank you so
all.
much,
We are
everyone.
super close to $800 raised for the whole marathon. So thank you all.
Yep, we've got some incentives in the future, so make sure to check for them.
Oh my god.
That turnaround, this big wide angle. Oh, that's great. That's great. And
So, either Combo or his Boombox, or both, has a lot of mass. So the cornering is really not what you want. But it is doable.
It is doable. Thankfully, cornering doesn't matter too much in the boss fights.
I would have done the incentive to last longer, like play as the character longer, but it's literally not possible in this category.
Yeah,
There's just too much.
It genuinely makes the category less exciting to watch and do all the tricks and everything.
So because I'm playing as a 30 can character, I'm gonna do a very old strat.
Are we going right to left, Suprix?
We're going right to left. Two trains coexisting.
Oh man. So normally we would do a little bit of fast train strat where we boost to the left here and then jump and grab some of these. Kill this train pretty much right here with the remaining cans that we have. But again, because we're a 30 can character, not a 35 can character like we'd like to be at this point in the game, we have to do a little bit of
I did this wrong. Oh.
Yeah, because you boosted one too many times.
Yeah, I think I thought I could afford a boost. It's okay, as long as I keep up.
Yep. The train moves at your grinding speed, or even a little bit faster at times, until it does an attack. Once it does an attack, which is a little lightning popcorn thing on the rail, or the little missile you had to jump over, it'll slow down. However, if you have to trick jump to another rail to dodge it, the time save on it is essentially 0, which can make this fight take a very, very, very long time if you're not aware of those mechanics. Also, this explosion takes a very, very, very long time because the game just lags.
Check out that IGT.
I know. I was actually like, dang, we have a pretty good run going here for a little while.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy with this run.
Yeah.
I got all the important stuff.
I don't think it can PD pace anymore.
No.
But it's within a minute or two of PD/world record, which is pretty sick. Especially considering all the marathon safe stuff we did, and the fact that we picked combo, which is objectively suboptimal. But optimal as far as the donations are concerned. So, we are moving into the final 2 boss fights of this game. This is Rikaku Goji. He talks for less time in Japanese, and it still feels like an absolute eternity. He's got this psychedelic-looking tower spinning mechanism of whatchamacallit thingamajig. And it works, and what up, kid?
What up, kid? Am I gonna make this jump? Oh my god, barely.
No. Wow, I'm actually impressed you made that jump. That's a really tough one to hit. So he talks on and on and on and on and on and on in English.
This is where the game gets philosophical.
Yeah.
Like most anime.
Let's talk about the good of the streets and the symbol of freedoms and whatever you call it. It's all very philosophical, but he's literally just sucking people in a giant purple tornado, horizontal tornado, into this tower and using them for whatever. It's really kind of like, what?
Question mark, world domination.
Yeah, that's like...
It's basically the plot.
That's basically the plan. It's like build tower, suck people in, 3 question marks, world domination. Like, it's that simple. And look how mobile that tower is. It's so... And they can just bring it anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's 3 unstable legs.
So you could see this tower in the Expo Stadium if you look beyond the fence. So somehow it got here. Somehow it got through the garage to Shibuya without anyone noticing.
Might have been the helicopters.
Oh, yeah. So I have less than 7 cans, so old strat coming.
Old strat. So this is the 0-beat fight. They've been kind of teasing playing 0-beat around for a little while, and now you get to fight 2 of them. Fairly easy fight that can go wrong, as pretty much all Tiger's tags can. You need to jump behind the second one, at least for the old strat. You jump behind the second one, Finish spraying him down, grab a bunch of cans, and then spray the front one. Boy, this cornering, huh?
Oh yeah. Luckily, yeah, I have quick turning as a crutch. Reverse quick turning is a godsend for low cornering characters.
Yeah, because it's just an animation cancel instead of an actual cornering tool. It is the same for all characters, which is just fantastic.
All right. Back to the most important trick.
Yeah, boy, we're kicking it live. Welcome to the new.
The best pickle is the pickle where you skip cans for more pickle
Wait a
time.
minute. I think I'm gonna call it.
Or Goji with 7
Yo, Future.
Try and get pickle.
And when I say future, I don't mean all that stuff that moves down this road. The future is.
So just like in the Expo Stadium, if you hit it
And it's up to you to
just
decide
right,
what goes on.
you will clip right through the wall. Unfortunately, no pickle in this run, so it is practically invalid.
Oh, that's something else I need to show you. Last night, I was going for pickle, of course, and I got it, but on the left of the white texture, which is not where you're supposed to get it. I need to make a clip of that. I think it's like an even rarer pickle.
Oh, rare pickle. Wow.
First, you had a rare parrot. Now you had a rare pickle.
Just a dancing around pickle. Fantastic. So, final boss fight.
Yeah, time's coming up.
Yeah, time will be on the black screen right after Goji dies. I will yell about it. Well, Suprix will, because he has no delay. So Goji goes full Super Saiyan mode, turns into his super suit, and yeah, I don't know. It still has like a beer belly and everything. Like I don't know. It's got a face on it. It's got a sun on it for some imagery or something. I don't know. It really gets trippy. Don't look at the background of this too hard either.
Yeah, bitrate might be plummeting.
It looks fine overall, but yeah, this is the bitrate kill. Goji is a boss with very nice score. You can't do this strat because you don't have 35 cams.
Oh yeah. Oh, look at that.
Well,
Well, I guess we're doing three trips.
So,
I've also
normally
never heard combo scream before. Sorry, I interrupted you.
that's better for the hearing world. No, that's Rapid 99. Don't let her scream. It's blood curdling. So, Goji requires 2 boosts before you can spray him. They took the mechanic that they've used the entire time. And they're like, wow, what if we increase the number of boosts required? And they were like, send it in. This is the final boss. Like, we have nailed it. I do like how you have to do all the map mechanics up here already, and it's like a real retrospective look at the level and all this stuff. That's kind of neat. So yeah, so normally if you have a 35 cam character, you boost him down once, go over the edge, boost him again, and it takes 20.
And time.
Nice run. Really nice run.
Very happy with that. It's definitely not an easy run.
No, that's
At least. Thank you.
a very hard category. That is sub 2 minutes behind PB/world record. Using combo, using marathon safe strats. That genuinely had a chance to be world record if it was a normal run. So, that's the best kind of run you're going to get. That was really well done.
That's awesome. Thank you for running so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for everyone's donations. $782.
There's a lot. But yeah, so Suprix, do you have any last words that you would like to say to the chat?
Oh, I do. So if you're considering running this game and you watch this run and you say, I want to do that too. There is the Discord, there's the speedrun.com page, the usual. But as of I think a week ago, we have a new website called jsrfspeedruns.com, and it was after several months of very hard work to get this website out, and there was a lot of people that contributed, and it has videos and tutorials of every trick, every glitch, every route, every category, that you can think of, and it also has a section specifically for beginners who are trying to get into specifically speedrunning this game, but it also has some general information just about speedrunning. And it also has a science section for all of the miscellaneous, really insane knowledge about this game that you didn't know that you needed to know, but it is there. So once again, that's jsrfspeedruns.com. If you're interested in this game, please check it out.
Our world is normal again, all right.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Suprix, and of course, Seventh Ace for the wonderful commentary. You went for a long commentary there. Ace, do you have anything you'd like to say before hopping off?
Thank you, Suprix, for having me on to commentate this run. It's been fun creating and learning and watching you and everybody else run this category. Thanks to everybody in chat for having some banter to play off with during the run, and all the support that you gave both Suprix, myself, and the donations. And yeah, thanks for watching. Check out the website. We're super proud of releasing it, and yeah, that's all I got.
That's it. Cool. Well, thanks to the both of you again. It was awesome to see. And before we hop off to intermission, I just want to say we are fundraising for Save the Children. We've got some upcoming incentives for Mega Man. Definitely go check them out. We'll be back for an intermission, but until then, see you guys soon.
See ya.
Bye. Yo, 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 everyone. This is Morale, your host and donation reader at the moment. This was my last run. But next up, we've got Mega Man Powered Up Any Percent coming up. And you'll have a new host as well. I'll introduce you to him. It is English Ben. Hi, Ben.
Hi, Morale.
Hi, how are you?
I am fantastic, and I am ready to see some great speedruns.
You're ready. Do you want to plug the upcoming donation incentives?
Ah, yes. Let me pull up the thing here. I've got a million tabs open. It's difficult. I used to have like a dedicated order for all the things that I would have open.
Yeah.
But it's been a few months, so I'm I'm trying to keep things rolling here. Let me.
Okay, I'll organize and stuff. Okay, well,
exactly.
while you're getting your tabs, I'll just remind people that we are fundraising for Save the Children. They work in 120 different countries around the world. I'll actually read you a very professional reading blurb before I drop off. Are you guys ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Every day, 15,000 children die before their 5th birthday. Most from preventable causes. Save the Children will do whatever it takes to ensure all children survive learn, and are protected through 3 global goals by 2030. 1. No child should die from preventable causes. 2. All children should have access to quality basic education. 3. No child should be a victim of violence. Man, when I read this, it sounds like I sound so unserious. But
it was all going so well, and then you broke character. My immersion has been ruined.
Oh man, but it is serious. So thank you all for having donated so far. And definitely consider donating if you can. We know that these are very strange times that we are living in with the corona situation and all the riots and protests that are going on. But just wanted you to know that your donations go a very long way. $1 can be enough to provide 4 children with treatment against pneumonia, which is a life-threatening illness and one of the biggest reasons children under the age of 5 die, actually, and that is $1. So yeah. And then a $50 donation can deliver education essentials where it's needed, like books, games, software, supplies, intended to make up for lost learning time, especially now with the closures of all the schools. And kids are missing out on equal opportunity to learn, and that's what Save the Children does. They ensure that children have the equal opportunity to learn and grow up in a more equal society. So definitely consider donating. Ben, do you have your incentives ready?
I've got the tabs open. We've got
Dang.
it. As far as I know, anyway, based on memory, it's difficult to keep it up. But so the next run coming up is Mega Man powered up in just a few minutes, and there is a bid war for the character selection that will be used. So currently winning is Roll. So it's $5 ahead. So all it takes is $6 or more, and you can pick a character out of the other options, which are Mega Man and Proto Man, and you can get your very own character selection in this next run for just $6 or more.
That's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you were just saying, right, how like such little amounts of money can go so far.
Yeah.
And now it can go so far for the children, and it can go so far, and you can get your own character selection in Mega Man.
Do it, guys.
People will pay a lot of money for that, but you can just pay $6. That's like a Subway sandwich.
Is it?
I don't know. England's expensive. Maybe my numbers are wrong.
I don't know either.
England is very expensive. It's probably like $20 for a Subway here or something ridiculous.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, okay. So, do you want to say something about the next upcoming 3 runs? Do they have something in common?
They're all ran by the same person, right? Which I wasn't expected. But yeah, Peter Afro is going to give us 3 runs back to back. So should hopefully mean that setup times aren't too long, so we can get straight back into the speedruns. And yeah, we'll have a good how long? Like a couple of hours, two or so hours of just straight non-stop action. So that'll be sick.
That's cool. Well, I'm gonna say my good lucks to Peter Afro and to you, Ben, because you are now going to be the host at NASA Marathon. I am gonna bid my farewell chat. It was nice being here and helping out. I'll be on tomorrow as well. And yeah, it was a pleasure. Hopefully we can raise some more money for the kids and watch some cool speedruns.
Thank you, Morale, on behalf of everyone for all that you do. We really appreciate you.
God.
And all right, I'm gonna be nice. All right, I could have said, "Oh, thanks, Morale. I don't need your good luck. You know, I'm a better host." But no, of course, I try and be nice, and you laugh at me.
Oh yeah. But I get awkward with that. But with the yeah.
Let the pros handle this, Morale. All right.
Is Ezo Mash in the chat? Mash.
Yes.
Why are you not sleeping?
Stop calling out people. Your host is over. Your shift is over.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go. Bye, everyone. Take care. And 800 hype. Let's get there. Bye.
Let's do it. All right, now the host with the most is finally on his own, and he's not getting backseated. we can finally remind you. So we are currently at $782, just 18 more to go, and we'll be at the big 800. So we can do that during this next run for sure. But until then, we've got Mega Man Powered Up coming right at you in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.